Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Start in Hunter x Hunter. Indestructible, I am the strongest. Chapter 31. Yes, it's Meteor Street. There is no more perfect place to deal with in this world than Meteor Street, because Meteor Street is a non-existent area in the eyes of the world. No matter what you throw here, no one will condemn it. But according to the rules that the elders and the rest of the world have always reached, that is, large-scale infectious substances cannot be placed on Meteor Street. Before this agreement, all countries have been abiding by it until the Rose of the Poor appeared. Its appearance has led to the secret military competition all over the world, and the success of the poor man's rose has also inspired the deepest malice in the human heart, and the production of various infectious agents is constantly increasing. In this way, the eyes of various countries are naturally placed on Meteor Street. After all, it is their optimal solution to throw these highly expensive infectious substances on Meteor Street. Although they can't blatantly throw the infected into Meteor Street due to the previous agreement, they can find all kinds of excuses. For example, the people of Meteor Street, what kind of damage did they cause in their country, and what kind of losses did they cause? Using this as an excuse, they put infectious substances into Meteor Street. If the elder refuses, then material sanctions will be imposed. That's right, it's material sanctions. In fact, this is what Lin Mo only knew when he came to this world. The operation of Meteor Street consists of two parts. One is to collect and screen valuable garbage through residents, and then focus on exchanging the resources needed for life from the elders. The elders then purchase living materials from the outside world by transforming and selling these valuable garbage. Then use these materials to trade valuable garbage with the residents. But this part only takes up a fairly small percentage. After all, garbage is garbage, and no matter how valuable it is, it cannot sustain the lives of more than 10 million people. The second part is what really keeps Meteor Street running. That is the waste disposal fee of each country. Whenever a certain amount of garbage is dumped in Meteor Street, a certain amount of resources must be paid for Meteor Street. This is the reason why Meteor Street has been able to maintain. Not only do countries need a cheap garbage disposal site like Meteor Street, but Meteor Street actually needs countries to keep throwing garbage over them. And these countries just see that the demand for Meteor Street is greater than them. That's why we can use this as a threat. If we don't accept those infectious substances, we will stop cooperating with Meteor Street. Without the cooperation of various countries, Meteor Street will lose both valuable garbage and garbage disposal fees. This also led to Meteor Street having to compromise and accept part of the infection. This is why it is said that the crimes committed by the residents of Meteor Street who go out without permission will eventually be paid by Meteor Street. After listening to Krollo's words, everyone's expressions became unpleasant. These fools! Uvajin couldn't help but let out a loud roar, directly smashing a broken wooden table in front of him with a punch. No matter how they think Meteor Street is broken, they are people from Meteor Street after all. For Meteor Street is quite emotional. At this moment, even Phaeton, who hated elders the most, closed his mouth, exuding a terrifying murderous aura from his body. This time, he was not targeting the elders, but the countries outside. No matter how much I hate the elders, I have to admit that the elders have been working hard for the existence of Meteor Street. But no matter how angry they are, it's just incompetent rage. This situation cannot be resolved by them alone. Even Netero, who is recognized as the strongest player in the world, does not have to obey V5's orders to a certain extent. Not to mention a few of them who are new to Nien. Then what is the specific transaction between you and the second elder? After calming down a little, Lin Mo continued to ask. He taught me the power of mind and issued a pass for my team, while I was responsible for scavenging resources from the outside world to supply Meteor Street, and at the same time looking for ways to get rid of the restrictions. Lin Mo narrowed his eyes. No wonder in the original book, after the ants invaded Meteor Street, the brigade would appear on Meteor Street for the first time and help them get rid of the ants. It turns out that the brigade has always been the people of Meteor Street. They never cut off their relationship with Meteor Street. Moreover, the stolen property has not been explained where it is going. It seems that it should be used to maintain Meteor Street. But think about it, when Uvajin told Krollo on the phone that he suspected Judah on the team. Krollo's answer: think about it, if someone betrayed us to the underworld, what would he get? Money. fame, status. Would anyone really be content with these things among us? And Uvajan's answer was, yeah, no. This shows that no one in the brigade pursues these things at all. If so, why are they robbing these properties? If Krollo or anyone in the brigade likes something, just go straight to the gun buyer after the auction, like Phaeton. This saves time and is more efficient. So, is the Phantom Troop actually a violent charity group? Since you said that, then there is a new question. Joining you, or letting you join, does it mean that the transaction between you and the second elder will involve us? Lin Mo crossed his hands and again threw another key question. Krollo shook his head. No, the transaction with the second elder is just my personal behavior and has nothing to do with you. If there is any action in the team, I will only give my own share to the elder, yours the share will be at your discretion. As I said before, even the leader can't control the members. All the actions of the members are free. It's just that they can use the power of the team when they cannot be completed by personal power. So whether it's because of my personal transaction with the elders or my own assumptions, I hope I can get the leadership. After that, Krollo began to wait for Lin Mo's final reply. After listening to Krollo's words, Lin Mo began to fall into deep thought. This is different from the brigade in Lin Mo's impression. At first, Lin Mo thought that the Phantom Troop was a simple gang of thieves. The reason why I want to join them is just because I am interested in the brigade that was portrayed by the old thief Fujian with so much brush and ink in the original book. You don't need to pay anything to join the group anyway. And it is said that there will be a day when the brigade will be used in the future. No one in the audience spoke, just waiting for Lin Mo's answer. No matter what decision Lin Mo makes, Uvajan, Nobunaga and Maki will support him unconditionally. Let's join. With a smile on Lin Mo's face, he stood up and extended his right hand to Krollo. Just now, after Lin Mo heard about the deal between Krollo and the elder, he subconsciously analyzed the pros and cons again. After analyzing the results for a long time, Lin Mo suddenly realized something. That is, what if there is a deal between Phantom Troop and the elders of Meteor Street? He joined the Phantom Troop not for financial gain, but for the possibility of using the power of the brigade and his own pleasure in the future. In this case, whether there is a transaction between Phantom Troop and the elder has nothing to do with him. This stuff must have been handled by Krollo himself anyway. Just make sure that Krollo has no coercive authority over himself. As for whether to participate in future brigade operations, it will be good to see the mood. After realizing this, Lin Mo couldn't help being dumbfounded. Sometimes I follow my past cognition too much, and I use my own vitality to analyze it, not to mention immortality. It's okay to live for at least a few thousand years. If you still act according to your past cognition, life will be too boring. From today onwards, you only need to consider your own pleasure. After getting an affirmative reply from Lin Mo, Krollo also stood up with a smile on his face and held Lin Mo's outstretched hand. Welcome. Okay, since we are all teammates in the future, let me introduce myself again, Lin Mo, Manipulator Nen, with the ability Material Manifestation. With Lin Mo's introduction, Krollo also reintroduced himself with a smile. Krollo, the trait is Nen, the ability has not yet been developed. Seeing this, others began to follow suit. Pike Nuoden, the trait is Nen, the ability is currently undeveloped. Maki, Conjurer Nen, has the ability to Mind Line. Franklin, Transmuter Nen, ability is currently undeveloped. Uvajan, Enhancer Nen, with the ability Super Destruction Fist. Phaeton, Conjurer Nen, ability currently undeveloped. Nobunaga, Enhancer Nen, the ability is II Drawing Sword. Phantom Troop officially established. After some introductions, the newly established team was born with a little cohesion. Krollo, since our team is planning to conduct activities in the outside world, do you have any ideas for the name of the team? Lin Mo sat down again and said casually. Krollo nodded. Yes, since we are all from Meteor Street, which does not exist to the outside world, so I am going to name our team Phantom, let's call it Phantom Troop. For this name, everyone has no opinion, it is unexpectedly appropriate. According to my assumptions, the number of the brigade is limited to 13, no more or no less. It won't look bloated, and it can just handle most situations. And I'm going to tattoo a mark on each member, which can correspondingly improve our cohesion. What do you think of my thoughts? Just as Lin Mo mentioned the name of the team, Crollo also used his words to express some of his ideas. No, it doesn't matter, I listened to Lin Mo. Uvajin shrugged. These things, if you ask Uvajin, you really don't expect him to answer anything. So do we. Maki and Nobunaga expressed the same attitude. Although in theory, Lin Mo and they are all members of the group. But in fact, the person they listened to was still Lin Mo. Crollo also realized this, and his eyes flickered inexplicably. On the other side, Pikenaden and Franklin were quite convinced by Crollo, so of course there was no objection to the idea he proposed. Anyway, let me kill the group of self-righteous stupid pigs outside, and you can decide other things. This is Phaeton's attitude. So now all that's left is Lin Mo, who hasn't made a statement yet. I think it's pretty good. How about using spiders for marking? The top predators in Meteor Street are spiders. When we go to the outside world, we must become the top predators in the outside world. 12-legged spiders, each member represents a leg, and Crollo, you represent the spider's head. And then use numbers to distinguish each member. How about the idea? Crollo, no, it should be the leader. Quote. Lin Mo suggested after pretending to think for a while. To be honest, building the brigade into what he remembered step by step in his own hands gave Lin Mo a kind of joy, fighting for Gundam. Hearing Lin Mo take the initiative and call himself the leader, Crollo couldn't help feeling a confidant in his heart. Today's brigade lacks cohesion and a sense of substitution, or any team will face this problem when it is founded. At this time, one person must stand up in order to motivate others to invest. And this person can't be the leader, because it makes people feel rebellious. And Lin Mo's head is a very critical title, not because of how much Crollo cared about the title of captain. But only when Lin Mo takes the first step, can others really join in and become a real team. After all, anyone with a discerning eye can see that Lin Mo is much stronger than Crollo. Meteor Street itself is a place where the strong only respect. And Uvajin and the three of them were originally Lin Mo's people. Therefore, the cooperation of Lin Mo is very important. Not only that, Lin Mo's proposal also quite pokes Crollo. Whether it was the previous coin toss or the spider plus the number sign, every word of Lin Mo seemed to hit Crollo's heart. Had to let, Crollo raised a feeling called confidant to Lin Mo in his heart. I have to say, it's perfect. After hearing the combination of Lin Mo's spider and numbers, others imagined it in their minds and nodded involuntarily. The image of spiders really fits them well. Since everyone thinks it's okay, then the 12 legs of the spider represent the 12 numbers from 1 to 12. If you want to be the leader, you can choose the number 0 or the number 13, or there is no number at all, leaving only the spider's number. Tattoos, what do you think? Seeing that no one objected, Lin Mo continued to propose. Crollo held his chin and thought for a while. 13. I'll choose the number 13, you can also choose the number you like. Seeing that Crollo had made a choice, Lin Mo didn't bother to think about it, so he just picked the first one, then number 1. Phaeton glanced at Lin Mo, then said, then I'll be number 2. He definitely regarded this number as a power ranking. Well, Lin Mo, you chose number 1, then I'll be number 11. It can be considered as a sidekick with number 1, ha 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 ha. After scratching his head for a while, Uvajin also gave his choice. Then I'll pick number 10 and push you over. Nobunaga glanced at Uvajin. What did you say? Uvajin turned his head to Nobunaga, and the two fought back. Maki glanced at the two of them angrily, and said coldly, number 3. Well, I prefer the number 9. Pike Nuoden said after thinking about it for a long time. Then I'll be number 7. Franklin, the oldest and nicest person in the brigade, waited for everyone to choose before opening his mouth to choose. Since everyone has chosen their number, Maki, can I leave the tattoo to you? Crollo looked at Maki and smiled gently after seeing that everyone had chosen. As Crollo, who had invited Maki before, of course, he was very aware of Maki's micro-manipulation sensitivity. For things like tattoos, he could only trouble Maki to part-time as a tattoo artist. Maki glanced at Lin Mo. No problem, leave it to me. Captain. The smile on Crollo's face grew a little more. I have one last proposal. After speaking, Crollo turned his face to Lin Mo again. Lin Mo, are you interested in being the deputy head of the brigade? Lin Mo, are you interested in being the deputy head of the brigade? Hearing Crollo's words, Lin Mo was taken aback for a while. Deputy head, we are just a small team of 13 people, so we shouldn't need to set up a deputy head. Lin Mo couldn't understand what Crollo was thinking. What is the deputy head of a small team of 13 people doing? No, although we are only a small team, the positioning of the brigade destines that the actions we carry out will be quite dangerous, and although I believe in my ability, it is inevitable that there will be omissions. And in the future, it is inevitable that there will be various accidents. If I can't complete the mission of the head of the group, the brigade needs someone to do it for me. From the conversation just now, I believe everyone can see that, whether it's Lin Mo, your proposal or the whole idea is quite perfect. If it is you, you are fully capable of completing the work of the head of the group. Quote. Furthermore, the leader is never the most important thing. The most important thing is the existence of the brigade. If something happens to me, then Lin Mo will inherit the position of the leader. After saying that, Crollo looked around at everyone. What do you think? Is Lin Mo the deputy head of the team? I'm the first to agree. Sure enough, Uvijin, the impatient one, jumped out first. We agreed. Because of Crollo's proposal, both Maki and Nobunaga's affection for him rose a lot. If it's him, then I agree too. Unexpectedly, the one behind Maki and the others turned out to be Phaeton. Franklin, who was sitting next to Phaeton, gave him a somewhat surprised look. Is this still a bad character? I don't care. On the one hand, Franklin really doesn't care, and on the other hand, he is absolutely sure that Lin Mo's speech has always been quite clear and convincing. Pikenoden glanced at Crollo. Since Crollo approves, I have no problem. Her attitude was very clear, and they were the same mindless station as Maki. It seems that Pike Norden has now become a little fan of Crollo. Since there aren't a lot of people wanting to take Parkon, I'll give it up. Seeing this, Crollo satisfactorily imitated Lin Mo and spread his hands. Lin Mo, look, everyone recognizes you quite a bit. Tisk, do everything for me, I'm here to enjoy the joy of cuz, not really to work. And how can there be all of them? The one recognized by Pike Nuoden is obviously you. Lin Mo wanted to refuse, but looking at Maki's expectant eyes, he was a little bit speechless. All right, but don't expect me to share your work when you're here, I'm lazy. Lin Mo scratched his head, and finally agreed. Seeing that Lin Mo agreed, Crollo smiled even more. It's okay, that's it. Lin Mo rolled his eyes at him. I think you want to be a little lazy too. If Phantom Troop was just a thief group as Lin Mo had imagined, Lin Mo wouldn't think Crollo wanted to be lazy, so he pulled him into the water. Because if it is simply a thief group, any action is related to its own interests. But now Lin Mo finds out that this is a charity organization. The benefits that can be obtained are only the pleasures brought about by actions. And this pleasure has nothing to do with the team leader's previous work, and can only be felt during the course of action. In other words, the head of the group is a thankless position. That's right, in Lin Mo's eyes, interest is only pleasure. As for money and resources, for Lin Mo who has material realization, isn't that something that is available in the booth? What is there to pursue? Speaking of this, although the food that he has embodied himself is also delicious. But it's not a problem to eat the food of the previous life all the time. When you come to this world, you must eat some special food of this world. Decided. After going out, find yourself a little cook. Please take care of me in the future, Deputy Head. Crollo got up again with a smile on his face and stretched out his right hand. Take care of you, Captain. Seeing this, Lin Mo could only stand up angrily, and shook hands with Crollo again. Nima, this is the third time. Wow, great, Lin Mo, pinch. Since today is so happy, let's have a banquet tonight. Uvijin came over with excitement on his face. Who knew Maki would slap Uvijin on the head? Idiot, call the deputy head. No pain or itch, Uvijin's expression didn't change at all, he still obeyed Maki's words and asked again. Deputy head, how about our banquet tonight? Uvijin is usually a little silly, but this proposal is really good. It is a law for new people to join a banquet. Following Uvijin's words, Lin Mo said, everyone, although I don't know where your original station is, but as far as the station is concerned, I'm quite confident, if you don't leave Meteor Street, stay with me first, on. Alright, I've heard that your residence has become perfect, so it's time to go and see it. Crollo also cooperated with Linmo and said, living together is just a good way to get in touch with a new team. Both of them revealed a tacit smile. Katakana middle dot katakana middle dot katakana middle dot. Katakana middle dot katakana middle dot katakana middle dot. Over the next few days, all 8 Phantom Troop members are currently staying at Linmo's residence. Due to the sudden doubling of the number of people, Linmo had to expand again. Fortunately, with the previous experience, the speed is much faster. This time Crollo finally saw what Linmo's material embodying was at full power. It can only be said that they were stunned, seeing that all kinds of magical furniture that they had never seen before continued to materialize from Linmo's hands. And looking at Linmo's appearance, it seems that there is no burden at all. It is enough to see that Linmo's ability may be smaller than they thought in terms of consumption. If Crollo were to rate Linmo's ability, he would give 2 words. Perfect. Low energy consumption, large output, long sustainable time and wide application range. This is just an application in life. According to Linmo's description, as long as it comes into contact with something, he can be infinitely embodied. In terms of combat, the first thing that comes to Crollo's mind is the Rose of the Poor. If it is really possible, Linmo's ability can be said to be the power to destroy the world. Found a treasure. When I first came into contact, I thought that Linmo's ability was just an all-purpose assistant. Now Crollo believes that even if Linmo is alone, he can fight the whole world alone. It is simply a walking humanoid natural disaster. Adertisement. In the past few days, the brigade has also completed the initial run-in. At least they don't break up with each other anymore, and they can chat a few words from time to time. Before Crollo asked Maki's tattoos, they were also completed. After thinking about it for a long time, Linmo finally decided to get the tattoo on his back. Now the original Uvajin Nobunaga's bruised and swollen duo have become the 4 heavenly kings of bruised and swollen faces. Phaeton and Franklin both joined. Originally, Phaeton saw that Uvajin and Nobunaga practiced so desperately every day, and naturally joined in not to be outdone. Seeing this, Uvajin simply pulled Franklin, who was innocently watching the show, with him. In the beginning, Phaeton and Franklin were certainly no match for Uvajin and Nobunaga. Being beaten so badly, however, Uvajin and the others are not secretive people. After secretly asking Linmo if he could teach them those cultivation methods and advanced application skills. Just like the cat and the tiger, what Linmo taught them is also taught to others. Linmo, who happened to be saved, said it again. Of course, everyone knows that these things come from Linmo. How could Uvajin and Nobunaga know such advanced application skills by themselves? Fortunately, Franklin is a transmuter. If he is a manipulator, Linmo doesn't know how to do other training. In the original book, the blonde pseudo-Lolita only mentioned the practice of enhancer, conjurer and transmuter, and nothing else was mentioned. As for the trait system, everyone is different, and there is no such method of systematic cultivation. So Crollo and Pykenoden had to figure it out on their own. By the way, Linmo saw the 4 of them again and seemed to be having a good time, so he also got off the court to discuss with them. As for the ending, of course, in a 4-on-1 situation, he was still being played around by Linmo's unlimited spell. In a hurry, Phaeton even spoke his native dialect. After satisfying his desire to pretend, Linmo went upstairs with a contented face. He has some eyebrows about his next ability. All that was left was the low-pressure foursome lying on the ground. If Phaeton still wanted to compete with Linmo at the beginning, he has now killed this idea in the cradle. This monster is impossible to win. There was only one thought left in his mind. On the other side, Maki and Pykenoden, they get along much better than Linmo imagined. Originally, Linmo thought that it would be difficult to get close to Maki because of Maki's indifferent personality and the fact that the 2 of them had different choices in their hearts. But what Linmo didn't expect was that the 2 of them could chat unexpectedly. This has to make Linmo sigh again that the feelings between girls are always so magical. In the previous life, even if Linmo used his own professional analysis, he could not analyze any results, and he did not expect that it would also exist in the hunter world. In fact, the 2 of them found out from the first sight that they were the same thing. The same does not refer to gender or species. It's about growing up and experiencing. Although they all agree that Meteor Street is their home, in fact, there are a lot of scum in Meteor Street. With Parker Newton, he was gifted with extraordinary connotations since childhood. Before she met Crollo, her life was similar to Maki's. There are too many evils every day, such as falsehood, lies, greed and other evils of human nature. Why do you think Pikenaudin's Nen is exploration of memory? As mentioned before, Nen is actually the power of heart. That is, the power of mental portraiture. Like Maki, Pike Newton also has his own special features, looks into the depths of memory. She can easily tell if someone is lying. It is because of this ability that she can survive smoothly. Therefore, two people in the same situation, of course, can quickly become acquainted when they meet. It's just that Lin Mo doesn't know this, and Quan regards it as a magical emotional exchange for girls. This day, Lin Mo was lying on a reclining chair in the yard, watching Uvijin and the others pecking at each other while eating manglong. Blah blah blah. Suddenly, footsteps came from outside the yard. Yo, Captain, you're back, how did you get the permit? Turning to look, Lin Mo waved casually after seeing that it was Crollo. Crollo didn't answer immediately, but walked to Lin Mo's side and sat down on another reclining chair next to Lin Mo. Not yet, there was a little accident. Oh, what? The elders regretted it. That's not right. I invested so much in the early stage, how can I regret it now? No, I didn't regret it, it's just that the first elder wants to confirm our aptitude and whether we have this ability. Crollo paused for a while. In the words of the great elder, we need to make sure that we at least have the ability not to be caught. As long as we don't get caught, we can even fail. Is that so? Then what are you going to do? It feels good to not have to think about it. If you do it alone, you really have to do whatever you want. Lin Mo changed his position and continued to lie down comfortably. I didn't do much, I told them, and let them personally confirm whether our deputy head has such ability tomorrow. He also gave Lin Mo a gentle smile. Gah, okay, you thick eyebrows and big eyes, Crollo, are you throwing the blame for yourself after a long time? Lin Mo looked at Crollo with the expression of you humiliating me. Let yourself go to the elders, isn't it time to go out and smell the garbage again? No way, who said that the most powerful person in the brigade is you? Crollo said innocently. You seem to be making a lot of sense, what a shit. At the beginning, it was clearly stated that it was you who got the pass, okay. Please, deputy head. Without waiting for Lin Mo to reply, he took out a book from nowhere and read it. Seeing Crollo's sullen face, Lin Mo had no choice but to agree. You chose it yourself, idle. However, just to see how strong he is, it seems to be not bad. The rookie Uvijin, especially Lin Mo's impression of them has always been the image of them growing up, which is easy to swell. The outside world is very dangerous. Not to mention the disasters, just the weird Nen is trouble enough. And also has the causal law ability like Aluga. God knows if this thing can really kill him. For now, Lin Mo just knows that his self-healing ability is super strong and his vitality is bursting. No, you can't be so inflated, you have to wake up yourself. I hope the people on the elders' side can give some strength tomorrow and play such a role. The next day, on the endless garbage plain, two figures in neat suits and gas masks on their heads were walking step by step. From time to time, there are small groups of Meteor Street residents carefully looking for valuable garbage. Although they were constantly rummaging through the garbage, they would always leave a trace of vigilance to observe the two figures that seemed out of tune with the entire garbage environment. There is no reason for him. Whether it's the aura that they exude from time to time, or the clothes that look extremely luxurious in such an environment. There is no indication that these two are not easy to mess with. Captain, how long will it take to arrive? Is the old city so far away? Lin Mo complained a little while seeing the unchanging scenery around him, except for the garbage. Compared to Lin Mo's impatience, Crollo's mentality is exceptionally good. It's just ahead, it's coming soon. After listening to Crollo's consolation, Lin Mo not only did not improve, but gave him a blank eye. You have said this sentence 11 times, this is the 12th time. It's true this time. Here, you see, it's just past the fence ahead. Lin Mo took a closer look, and indeed saw a fence surrounded by iron wires not far away. There were also 2 guards armed with guns. It looks like it should be coming soon. So, you really lied to me before. Lin Mo caught the loophole in Crollo's words and said angrily to him. Ahahaha, don't worry about these details. Compared to Crollo, who is only 13 years old now, he is much more lively. Stop, the front is the city of elders, and the idle people are not allowed to enter at will. Before Lin Mo and the others reached the fence, the 2 guards were sweating coldly, and nervously pointed their machine guns at them and warned them. Because Lin Mo is worried that there will be some blind fish on the road that will jump out to find a sense of existence. So there was a trace of evil thoughts along the way. In the eyes of ordinary people who didn't open their minds, Lin Mo was even more terrifying than the beasts of the flood. The almost substantive malice on his body was as if he was going to kill him in the next second. So along the way, the residents of Meteor Street are so wary of Lin Mo and the others. If it wasn't for their livelihood, they would even want to escape Lin Mo 100 miles away. Seeing these 2 guards react so aggressively, Lin Mo remembered that his evil thoughts had been maintained. He didn't feel the consumption of this amount of energy at all, and even forgot about it. Lin Mo shrugged to Crollo. Sorry, I forgot to put it away. As he said that, the oppression that had been felt all over Lin Mo disappeared in an instant. Lin Mo also changed from a beast in the eyes of the guards to the boy next door, and finally returned to normal from the state where he couldn't help pulling the trigger at any time. Crollo took off the gas mask from his head, then stepped forward and said to them. I'm Crollo. The elders should have told me to come over today. After hearing what Crollo said, the 2 guards finally breathed a sigh of relief. They really don't want to fight these 2 apparently monster guys if they can. When facing them, the guns in their hands cannot provide them with enough sense of security. It turns out that you are Crollo. The elder did instruct me, please come with me. One of the guards with a beard took the initiative to speak. After saying that, he turned around and led the way. Just when Lin Mo and the others arrived, the conference hall in the Elder City. The 6 elders of Meteor Street gathered here. Boss, I don't understand why you are still testing Crollo. Now the only person in Meteor Street who has the qualification to become a strong man is him. The second elder sat at the conference table and looked at the person sitting in the first seat with some puzzlement. Great elder. Facing the second elder's question, the first elder with white hair and beard sighed deeply. I know, but we can't take risks on Meteor Street anymore. Our area of 6,000 square kilometers has now become an infected area of nearly 1,000 square kilometers. If Crollo and the others are caught after they go out, then. Quote. The relatively young and hot-tempered 6th elder immediately started fighting. That's why we have to seek change. Let them outside ride on our heads to poop and pee. What are we doing, meteors? People in the street, you should all be tortoises. Don't forget what our creed is. No one can take anything from us. Lao Lu, don't be impatient. I also know that we must make changes, but the issue of candidates should be carefully considered. After all, Crollo is just a 13-year-old child. It is normal for the boss to have concerns. Sitting on the 6th elder, the 5th elder next to him pulled him down and comforted him. Seeing that the 5th elder gave him the steps, the 6th elder also sat down angrily along the steps. It's not that he has an opinion on the great elder, but that he is angry with the infected area of more than 1,000 square kilometers. But besides Crollo, do you have any other candidates? The 3rd elder, who had not spoken for a while, said quietly. His words caused the scene to fall into silence for a while. Yes, in fact, they have no choice. No matter how Crollo performs this time, they can only choose Crollo. The person they need now is not instant combat power, but a person who can truly become a strong man. Not to mention the real-time combat power, there are many people stronger than Crollo and the others in the escort team. But the problem is that they can only get here for the rest of their lives, and there is no further possibility. Perhaps in the eyes of outsiders, the size can be called a master. But in fact, their strength is slightly worse than that of the underworld beasts. There is no way to place resources here. Mindfulness is related to life energy. That is to say, it needs a lot of nutrients to make the body's life energy strong, and mindfulness can be strong. And Meteor Street was originally a place with nutritional deficiencies, and perhaps there was a place to be commended in terms of combat. But it is difficult to cultivate a real strong The appearance of Crollo is now their only hope. You can have this level of power just after opening your mind. If you grow up smoothly outside, maybe you can really change the situation of Meteor Street. After following the guards through the lines of defense, Linmo and the others finally came to a place that could be called a residential area. Although the Elder City is called a city, in fact, this place can barely be called a town in Linmo's eyes. The houses here are basically made of a mix of cement and wood. The residents here are basically guards and their families. Or the lucky person who found something of great value in the garbage dump outside and traded it for the right to live here. In any case, this place is indeed a city compared to the landfills outside. The environment is at least clean. It should be said that it is not only clean. After entering, Linmo didn't even see a shred of garbage. This can be seen from Linmo taking off the gas mask on his head after entering. After a while, Linmo finally came to a building that was different from other buildings and was built with concrete. This is the Elders' Conference Hall. The Elders are waiting for you inside. After that, it will not be a place I can enter. The guard respectfully said to Linmo and Crollo. Okay, thanks for your hard work. Crollo replied politely. Let's go in. Adertisement. After pushing the door open, an old man in a tuxedo faced Linmo and Crollo, and bowed slightly with his right hand on his heart. Welcome to the City of Elders, Lord Crollo. The Elders have been waiting for a long time. It can be seen that Linmo is full of black lines, and there are too many slots for a while, and I don't know where to start. Did the Elders of Meteor Street have more contact with the underworld? Why is it so weird? Can't it be a little bit of Meteor Street's own characteristics? Crollo didn't feel uncomfortable about it. He seemed to know the old man very well. It's Locke. Please take us to the Elder's place. No problem, please come with me. After saying that, he bowed again, and then walked in front of him with his hands behind his back. Apart from his demeanor alone, this butler named Locke is still very similar. Soon led by Locke to the conference room. Elders, Lord Crollo and his companions bring it here. Locke respectfully said after saluting the 6 elders sitting at the conference table. Trouble you, Locke, go down first. The old man sitting in the first place waved and told Locke to go out first. According to Linmo's observation, this person should be the boss of Meteor Street, that is, the Great Elder. After Locke left, the elder looked at Crollo sharply. Crollo, are you ready to take our test? Although he didn't use his mind, the Great Elder stood at the top of Meteor Street all year round, and he still had some imposing coercion on his body. In the face of the Grand Elder's aura, Crollo said, I'm ready. This is the teammate I found, and the deputy head of our team. His name is Linmo. He will be tested by the elders on behalf of our entire team. After speaking, Crollo also let a position out and introduced Linmo. At this time, the elders really paid attention to Linmo, who had been bored and looked around since entering the room. Regarding Crollo's test, it doesn't matter whether Crollo accepts it or not. Just be sure that Crollo's team has that capability. As for Crollo himself, they already knew how capable he was. So there is no objection to Crollo arranging Linmo to be tested. Unseen faces. This was the first reaction of the elders. In fact, the elders will have a certain impression of the slightly famous masters in Meteor Street. After all, it has not been a day or two for them to prepare this plan, so they have been collecting information on the masters of various districts. For example, Uvajin and the others were actually recommended by the elders to Crollo, and then Crollo sent an invitation. Although Linmo's original body was sold to the Nasla family by the 3 elders, the trivial matters such as dealing with the underworld can be done by the people below. Including the 6th elder notifying the Fanobi family to come and kill him, it was also done by the people under the elder. So they have no impression of Linmo's face at all. Quan is relatively low-key as Linmo, and they have no doubts about Crollo's vision. The elder clapped his hands. A muscular man with a height of about 2 meters walked in from another door. Jack, you go try his skills. The elder said in a flat tone. Yes. Jack's voice is emotionless, like a machine. Congeal. Linmo and Jack both focused on their eyes at the same time. After confirming that there were no traps around Linmo, Jack stepped out and rushed towards Linmo without saying a word. I didn't see any actual ability, just like Uvajin, he concentrated more than 50% of his energy on his right fist. He went straight to Lin Mo's head. Enhancer. There is no doubt that Jack looks like an enhancer in terms of body shape and hair. Well, it doesn't matter what the department is anyway. Originally, Lin Mo was still subconsciously guessing what kind of Nen this Jack was. But the next second he gave up. The reason is that the air volume difference between the two sides is too great. If Jack only maintains the state of tangling, Lin Mo can't guess what Jack's energy is. But Jack condensed it behind his right fist, although Lin Mo didn't know what percent of his Kai he condensed on it. But you can also roughly feel Jack's air, estimated to be about 10,000 garbage. Lin Mo can take Jack's straight punch unscathed just by maintaining the tangling. However, Lin Mo doesn't want to be bumped into by people he doesn't know, especially men. Unlimited spell activate. The left hand is open at will, ready to block Jack's attack. The Great Elder, who was watching the battle, couldn't help but shook his head. Alas, it's still too young, this guy named Lin Mo has been fooled. The First Elder just finished speaking, and Jack seemed to confirm what he said. On the way to attack Lin Mo with his right fist, he skillfully used flow to quickly transfer the chi of his right fist to his left hand. Only keep about 10% of the air volume just now, so as not to be pinched by Lin Mo when he attacks Lin Mo's left hand. Thinking cannon. I saw that the gas condensed in his left hand quickly formed a spherical thought group, and then shot out instantly at Lin Mo's abdomen. Success. At this time, Jack was originally expressionless, but a sinister smile appeared on his machine-like face. Another naive little cutie. Ha 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 ha. That's right, anyone who sees Jack for the first time will subconsciously classify him as an enhancer Nen. Tall body, strong muscles, and the behavior of that tough guy. It looks like a pure enhancer. But in fact, this is all Jack's disguise. He is actually the Nen of Transmuter. When he starts fighting, he will condense his chi in his right hand, pretending to be a brainless attack by enhancer. Then, when the enemy concentrates most of his Kai to defend his fist, quickly use flow to transfer his Kai to his real attack, his left hand, and then activate his Nen. Directly attack the opponent's weak defense abdomen. This whole set of attacks is his unfavorable routine. For this reason, he deliberately practiced flow hard, so that the transfer speed of his chi was much faster than that of ordinary people. However, before he was happy for long, he suddenly realized that something was wrong. In the past, the opponent should be knocked out by himself soon. Why? Oh, it turns out that you are the Nen of Transmuter. I didn't expect you to be so sinister with thick eyebrows and big ears. Lin Mo's playful voice came from his ear. Then, he saw an unforgettable scene in his life. Oh, it turns out that you are the Nen of Transmuter. I didn't expect you to be so dark with thick eyebrows and big ears. Lin Mo's playful voice came from Jack's ear. Jack, who finally noticed the abnormality, hurriedly looked down. I saw that the cannon that I was attacking at Lin Mo actually stayed about 3 or 4 centimeters away from Lin Mo's abdomen and could not make an inch. Just when Jack was wondering, Lin Mo raised his finger. His cannon actually moved from Lin Mo's abdomen to Lin Mo's fingers, and then stayed on top of it obediently. How is it possible? Obviously it was his own attack, how could he be used by the enemy like an arm? Encountering such a bizarre scene, Jack just wanted to step back. Unexpectedly, his right hand was stuck. He was firmly fixed in the air by Lin Mo, unable to move. There is no doubt that Jack's feint just now has entered the range of Lin Mo's unlimited spell. What kind of ability do you have? Jack was a little devastated. Aiming at Lin Mo with his left hand, the energy of his whole body is continuously condensed in it. Mind cannon, mind cannon, mind cannon, mind cannon. The cannons kept condensing in Jack's hands, and then shot at Lin Mo, and then stopped strangely in the void 3 or 4 centimeters away from Lin Mo's body. It wasn't until Jack's body was squeezed out that he was forced to stop. Because of the exhaustion of gas, Jack's feet were soft and he was about to collapse to the ground. But the right hand was firmly fixed in the air by Lin Mo. Jack now looks as if he is being held by an unknown force. As the fight over, at this time, Lin Mo asked quietly as he looked at Jack, who was terrified. To be honest, I usually shoot other people. I've never been shot by anyone. Even though you can't shoot, it's really annoying. The depths of Lin Mo's eyes were like a pool of stagnant water. Couldn't see what he was thinking. Then I'll give you back the things you shot out. Having said that, Lin Mo began to control the direction of these cannons, making them continuously fuse above his fingers. Since it is from the same kind of power, the fusion is particularly smooth. Soon more than 10 cannons were merged into one giant cannon by Lin Mo. Then Lin Mo's fingers started to move slowly towards Jack. As Lin Mo's fingers approached, the huge cannon kept approaching Jack. No. Don't. Please don't. Watching the giant cannon keep approaching him, Jack kept struggling to step back, but Jack, who was fixed by Lin Mo's unlimited spell, couldn't break free when he was still not free. How could it be possible to break free now? In the face of Jack's struggle for help, Lin Mo did not respond. His fingers still kept the same speed and continued to move at a constant speed. Elder, help me, help me. Seeing that he was powerless to break free, Jack could only look at the elder with a pleading expression on his face. He could feel that Lin Mo really wanted to kill him. Lin Mo, stop it. The elder, who finally reacted to Lin Mo's ability, hurriedly drank it. Hearing the words of the elder, Lin Mo paused with his fingers. Are you ordering me? A strong evil thought began to emanate from Lin Mo's body and pressed towards the great elder. Feeling Lin Mo's evil thoughts, the great elder's expression changed, and he quickly protected himself with tangling. As an elder of Meteor Street, how could he not read? This is just a discussion, there is no need. The elder was interrupted by Lin Mo before he could finish speaking. He just shot with the mentality of killing me. Lin Mo still looked at the great elder with Jiu Jingwu Bo's eyes and said. That's right, the reason why Lin Mo kills is because Lin Mo felt the killing intent at the moment when Jack wanted to shoot. Envy, or is it simply a mental imbalance? Whatever Jack's reason, Lin Mo wasn't interested in his mental activity. All he knew was that this junk named Jack had offended him. The elder was so choked by Lin Mo that he was speechless, and the murderer in Meteor Street was about to prepare to be killed. You are killed if you fail to kill, and no one can say anything. This is something that every 3-year-old knows. Lin Mo, it's a face to our elders. The fourth elder, who was originally on the side, saw that the first elder was so choked by Lin Mo that he couldn't speak, and wanted to make a round. Who knows what he said? The evil thoughts originally aimed only at the great elder immediately swept through all the elders. And this time, Lin Mo unreservedly released his evil thoughts that had grown to 150,000. This huge evil thought suddenly turned the entire conference room into a purgatory on earth. At this moment, Lin Mo seemed to have a Demon King phantom on his body, staring at the group of self-righteous elders. Even Crollo on the side was dumbfounded. He thought that Lin Mo would be strong, but he didn't expect it to be so strong. Although Lin Mo's evil thoughts deliberately avoided him, even so, he could still feel the abyss-like oppression on Lin Mo's body. Does anyone else have an opinion now? Lin Mo's tone was still calm at this time, without any killing intent. But with the evil thoughts swept out of him, the elders assured that they had never heard such a terrifying voice. The elders at this time, let alone talking, dare not even breathe. The body's instinct is to stop their respiratory system. The pupils of both eyes widened in horror, and sweat dripped down from his forehead like a waterfall. Seeing that no one was talking, Lin Mo nodded with satisfaction and put away all his evil thoughts. If he didn't put it away, Lin Mo would really be a little worried that this group of elders would suffocate to death. Alive. After the evil thoughts were put away by Lin Mo, the elders began to gasp for breath. For the first time, they felt that the air was so sweet and life was such a beautiful thing. After dealing with the group of elders, Lin Mo turned his head back with satisfaction, intending to kill Jack. Dying by one's own moves is a good way to die. Unexpectedly, when Lin Mo turned his head back, he was surprised to find that Jack had already stopped breathing. His facial expression was distorted, as if he had seen something terrifying. He was actually frightened to death alive. Forget this guy is out of breath. Lin Mo looked at Jack's body speechlessly. When I released my evil thoughts just now, I forgot that Jack's chi was exhausted, so I didn't stagger him on purpose. So much so that he was directly frightened to death by the evil thoughts emanating from Lin Mo. Lin Mo looked at Jack's body, and then at the giant cannon in his hand. Forget it, don't waste it. As he said that, he directly shot the cannonball at Jack's body. Boom. After a loud bang, Jack's body was gone. Not only that, the entire conference room shook a few times, and there was even a big pit on the ground. After finishing everything, Lin Mo looked at the elder again. Now, have I finished the test? I'm done with the test. Although Lin Mo's aura was subdued at this time, he looked like an unremarkable teenager. These elders couldn't take him as they thought he was, except for being good-looking, there was nothing special about him. This is completely a demon king in human skin. Is that huge evil thought really something that human beings can have? Passed, the elder said with some stumbling. Hearing this, Lin Mo walked up to the great elder and spread his hands in front of him. Bring it here. What? Lin Mo rolled his eyes and said, pass. Oh. The elder nodded mechanically, then took out the 8 passes that were similar to the ID cards that had been prepared, and put them in Lin Mo's hands obediently. After taking the pass, Lin Mo threw it in the direction of Crollo. Leader, let's go. After saying that, he pushed open the door and went out. Seeing this, Crollo shrugged like Lin Mo's usual appearance, still maintaining his politeness and saying goodbye to the elders. Then, elders, we will leave first. This group of elders is eager for them to leave quickly now. Who knows if Lin Mo, the devil, will destroy them all in a bad mood. Be careful on the road. The elders at this time didn't have the momentum they had when facing Crollo at the beginning, and they all looked like good-looking babies in their tens of years. After Lin Mo and the others had completely left, the 4th elder, who wanted to help the 1st elder in the first round, heaved a sigh of relief. Just now he really thought he was going to die here. Who is that young man named Lin Mo? Does that evil thought really belong to human beings? The 4th elder said with lingering fears. I don't know, I've never heard of such a number 1 figure in Meteor Street. At this time, the hot-tempered 6th elder couldn't be hot. We may have really let a demon out. The old elder now looks like he is a few years old. The jack just now is one of his trump cards. The loss of a capable person all of a sudden made the great elder feel distressed. What if you don't let it go? Do you think you can't get out by yourself with his strength? The 2nd elder gave the 1st elder a disdainful look. Besides, the stronger he is, the better for us. Demon, I wish he was a demon. It's time to let the group of guys in the outside world who think they are high above realize what hell is. The eyes of the 2nd elder were full of hatred. His son was killed by the infectious substances poured down by one of the countries in V5 without a word of hello. His son, who happened to be on a mission in that area, died there inexplicably. Afterwards, he casually arrested a resident who smuggled out of Meteor Street and said that because of the losses he caused to their country, Meteor Street is hereby sanctioned. In fact, the resident of Meteor Street who smuggled out has been living in hiding in the mountains and forests, and has never done anything wrong. But in the face of a behemoth like V5, Meteor Street simply dared not speak out. What can they do? The big fist is the boss. Since then, the 2nd elder, who originally belonged to the moderate faction, has completely changed. Become more radical than anyone else, and has been committed to promoting the transformation of Meteor Street. I haven't found a suitable candidate before, and now I finally wait for Crollo to appear. When facing Lin Mo's evil thoughts just now, the other elders were only afraid of Lin Mo, but he was more ecstatic at the same time. Fear is because of the instinctive fear of being a creature. And the ecstasy is that he really sees hope in Lin Mo. Hope for revenge against the outside world. If Crollo represents only a possibility, then Lin Mo is entirely hopeful. The other elders looked at the hateful speech of the 2nd elder and didn't know what to say for a while. Everyone is well aware of what happened to the 2nd elder, and at the same time, there is a sense of sadness in the death of a rabbit. The 2nd elder's son died today. What about tomorrow? What about the day after tomorrow? As long as one day is controlled by others, it is impossible to guarantee absolute security. If you think about it like this, then there is one thing to say: Lin Mo is really handsome. Katakana middle dot katakana middle dot katakana middle dot. Katakana middle dot katakana middle dot katakana middle dot. After getting the pass, Lin Mo and Crollo returned to the station without stopping. They can't wait to see the outside world. The 4 heavenly kings, who were still discussing in the yard, were the first to discover Lin Mo and the others. Yo, Commander, Deputy Commander, you're back. How's it going? Have you got your pass? Uvajin greeted them, waving his hand. With Uvajin's loud voice, the whole world knows that Linmo and the others are back. Maki and Paikanoden, who had been inside the house, also came out. Linmo took a pass from Krollo and flew it to Uvajin like a flying card. Wow, Uvajin played a few times after the result pass. Is this little card a pass? It doesn't look like anything special. By the way, since we have a pass now, does that mean we can go out? After taking a few glances at the pass, Uvajin suddenly asked with a bright eye. Yes, we can leave anytime. Krollo also walked over and said. Hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up. I can finally go out and see the outside world. Although the resident is good here, but they are nothing when they leave the resident. They are rebellious. If it is not because they can still cultivate, they would have been suffocated. But, what should I do here? Although Maki was very happy to be able to go out, she also looked back at the place full of all her good memories with some reluctance. Seeing Maki's mood, Linmo put his hand on her head and rubbed it. Gently said, it doesn't matter, as long as we are still there, then we can create everything at any time. Have you forgotten my ability? Of course Maki could hear Linmo's pun. It not only talks about the house in the material sense, but also contains the good memories in the emotional sense. Slightly blushing, she patted Linmo's hand off her head, and whispered, I see. The other emotional idiots in the brigade may not see it. As the only girl other than Maki, Pike Norden can't see that there is a direct problem with Linmo and Maki. Pike Nuoden looked at Linmo inexplicably and teased, oh, the deputy head is really considerate to Maki. How could Linmo let a little bird like Pike Nuoden make fun of him after 100 battles in his previous life? Isn't it the same for you, Pike? When it comes to the head of the regiment. She directly broke Paikanoden's defense. She didn't have the thick skin of Linmo. Like a girl whose heart was broken, her face blushed for a long time and she was speechless. And Krollo was still blinking at them innocently, not knowing what they were talking about. Alas, it's no help, another idiot. Hiss. Just as Linmo raised the corners of his mouth, admiring the embarrassment of Pike Norden. There was a tingling pain in the waist. Linmo looked at Maki in astonishment. Maki, when did you learn to pinch magic? Is this the inheritance of your girl's talent? After the play, Linmo also gave the station a complicated look. Don't look at Linmo, he speaks freely and easily, this is after all his home from the time he crossed over to the present. Witness the change of his mentality from the helpless and confused when he first came to this world to the now full of confidence. It also witnessed his transformation from an ordinary person to a strong man, both in terms of strength and mentality. Burn it. After thinking for a while, Linmo decided to set it on fire. It's not that Linmo doesn't want to leave him to someone who is destined for Meteor Street. But this thing is a sin for those who lack strength. Linmo can imagine that if this place is kept, it will inevitably lead to a bloody storm because of the competition for this place. It's not that the Virgin of Linmo is kind or something, it's just that this matter has no benefit to Linmo. Seeing that Linmo has already made a decision, of course others won't say anything, besides, the things here belong to Linmo in the first place. After Linmo realized a few barrels of gasoline, everyone helped to sprinkle it all over the station. Finally, Linmo turned over a silver Zippo and appeared in his hand. When Linmo skillfully flipped open the lid of the lighter with a flick of his finger. He had smoked cigarettes for a while in his previous life. After playing for a while, Linmo rubbed the lighter with his fingers, and suddenly a wisp of flame rose from the lighter. Let's go. After saying that, Linmo turned around and threw the lighter behind him casually. The lighter crossed a graceful arc in the air, spitting on the gasoline at the door in the middle. Boom. With the help of gasoline, the flame spread across the house in an instant, and the strong fire light shone on the back of the brigade leaving. It's always a pity. Franklin took one last look inside at the house wrapped in fire. Don't be stupid, if you don't destroy it, I don't know how many people will die under this station. Phaeton glanced at him. Franklin was taken aback by Phaeton's words. After being reminded by Phaeton, Franklin figured out the key point. Is that so? The deputy head is surprisingly gentle. Katakana middle dot katakana middle dot katakana middle dot katakana middle dot. A group of 8 people took an afternoon to finally cross the endless garbage plain inside Meteor Street before dark. Come to the relatively open outer area of Meteor Street. The outside of Meteor Street is different from the inside. This is the landfill area for surrounding towns. Therefore, a road connecting the town will be formed here for the garbage truck to pass. Looking at the garbage trucks appearing from time to time, Lin Mo sighed, there is finally a way. As he spoke, he directly materialized a minibus with 8 or 2 seats. Lin Mo had wanted to do this for a long time, but the problem was that the interior of Meteor Street was full of rubbish before, and there was no way for cars to pass. Even though he kept walking like this, Lin Mo didn't feel physically tired. But his heart is tired, and who wants to walk on his feet if he can take a car? Come on, let's all get in the car, we can finally drive. After saying that, Lin Mo sat directly on the driver's seat. He doesn't want to drive if he can, but can you expect the rest of the brigade who has been in Meteor Street to drive? Seeing this, everyone got into the car one after another. Lin Mo, I really have to say it again, inviting you to join the group is definitely the best decision I've ever made. Crollo, who was lying comfortably on the seat, had to sigh again. No matter how many times you watch it, Crollo will be amazed by Lin Mo's abilities. Does the power of this casual creation really not violate the authority of God? Don't say it, the more you say that, the more I regret it. I thought I would be able to be lazy after joining, but I didn't expect more. After hearing Crollo's compliment, Lin Mo not only didn't feel happy, but also complained. Ha ha ha, Lin Mo, you're the deputy head of the team, is that really okay? After staying with Lin Mo for a long time, Crollo's face thickened. Tisk, I shouldn't have promised to be the deputy head of the regiment back then. Forget it, I'll be able to go out soon, I'm in a good mood, so I won't bother with you. Ha 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 ha, it was rare to see Lin Mo deflated once, and everyone couldn't help laughing. Hearing the laughter coming from behind, Lin Mo couldn't help but have a smile on the corner of his mouth. The world is no longer as simple as an anime for Lin Mo. Since he crossed over, the people here are no longer paper people, but all flesh and blood people. During his time with the people of Phantom Troop, he could sense that none of them were the inherently evil murderers he thought they were. After all, the oldest of them is only 20 years old now, and the youngest Maki is 11 years old. They have lived in Meteor Street since childhood, although they are indifferent when facing outsiders. But not the kind of downright evil people who take pleasure in killing people. Even Phaeton, who has the worst character, will only attack those who have conflict. For those who have no injustice and no hatred, he is too lazy to do it. So why did they genocide the Kuluta people in the original book? Is it really just because Crollo thinks Fiery Eye looks good? Then get bored after less than a week and sell them all. Lin Mo, who really got in touch with Crollo, didn't think Crollo would do this at all. Whether it's the truth of the Phantom Troop or Crollo's character, Lin Mo doesn't think Crollo will do it. Even if you are really interested in Fiery Red Eyes, you can just grab other people's collections directly like Yukishin. Is there a difference between one Fiery Eye and hundreds of pairs of Crimson Eyes? And the practice of selling all of them a week later also made Lin Mo very concerned. The most important thing is that if there are so many Flaming Eyes in the market in an instant, it will inevitably lead to a significant drop in the price of Flaming Eyes. This is determined by the laws of the market. But in the original book, although Fiery Red Eye is still the 7 most accessible beauties, there is never any sign of a sharp decline in terms of price. In cooperation with Kurapika's opening of the Fiery Red Eyes, its mind system will become a trait system, and Uvajin also said that the people of the Kuruta tribe are very difficult to deal with. That shows that the Kuluta tribe has a certain amount of force. Whichever way you look at it, in Geno Zoldik's words, it's not a good deal for the Kulutas. If you have this kung fu, wouldn't it be bad to rob a gangster or a rich man? It's impossible for Crollo to not understand such a thing, but he did it anyway. Is there any reason he had to do it? Lin Mo, who was driving, looked at the still unchanging scenery, and his thoughts continued to diverge. There's nothing to do anyway, right? And the sign on the road leading to the town that he randomly chose was written in 3 large characters. Camby Town. Along the way, Lin Mo and his party passed through about 3 levels. After Lin Mo showed the pass given by the elder, the guards all bowed respectfully and tried their best to let go as quickly as possible. I don't know what news the elders ordered to go on. The guards' attitude towards them is simply better than that of their own father. But forget it, the result is good. After the last level, I finally got out of the boundary of Meteor Street. Then there is a short stretch of highway. Some ordinary self-built houses can already be seen here. Everyone who has never been outside is very curious about the outside world, and Uvijin even stuck his head out. Soon, Lin Mo saw a sign that spanned the entire highway not far away, with several large characters written on it. Welcome to Camby Town. Seeing this sign, Lin Mo knew that their destination had arrived. Hey, we're almost there, what should we do now? Captain, you can't be lazy this time. Hearing this, Crollo couldn't help laughing. Since we have come to a new place, the first thing we have to do is to find a foothold. Then, we have to find a way to get a legal identity. A settlement, Commander, do you mean to build a station like when you were in Meteor Street? Uvijin asked in confusion. Crollo smiled and shook his head. No, we're just staying here for a while, there's no need to spend so much effort, and our deputy head seems to be very opinionated about your proposal. After saying that, he gestured to Uvijin for the direction of Lin Mo's cab, but Lin Mo turned his head and stared at Uvijin with a pair of dead fish eyes. An inexplicable black aura emanated from his body. If he wants to build his own station like in Meteor Street, it is estimated that Lin Mo will have to materialize a bunch of things. Although physically tired is not tired, but he is tired. Besides, Lin Mo came out for enjoyment, not for work. Seeing Lin Mo's appearance, Uvijin's back suddenly burst into cold sweat, and he remembered the fear of being dominated by Lin Mo again. I was wrong. Deputy head. Ahead. Look ahead. When Uvijin recognized the mistake in the middle of the mistake, he suddenly pointed to the bright light in front of him in horror. A car was approaching on the opposite side. Lin Mo turned back unhurriedly, turned the steering wheel slightly in his hand, and just dodged in the nick of time. Call. Seeing the successful escape, Uvijin let out a long breath. Forget about Uvijin, and everyone else was relieved. You know, now their thoughts are not enough to protect them from being injured in a car accident. If you really want to collide at the speed just now, you won't be able to run with a slight injury. Everyone looked at Uvijin with murderous eyes. Feeling the eyes of everyone, Uvijin raised his hands helplessly and surrendered. I was wrong. Captain, then where are we going to find a foothold? Franklin continued to ask the topic just now. Of course we're going to find our natural ally of Meteor Street, the underworld. Crollo showed a wicked smile. You must know that in small places like the periphery of Meteor Street, most of them are small underworlds. Whether it is a temporary settlement or an identity certificate, they can just meet our current needs. Sure enough, you have to rely on friends when you go out. After hearing Crollo's thoughts, even Lin Mo's eyes lit up. Thanks to Crollo, the underworld is the perfect match for their needs right now. Not only can it solve the problem of the foothold, but at the same time, it can also borrow their way to create a legal identity certificate for us. Coupled with those small underworld organizations, it is impossible to have NEN people, otherwise, as long as there is a capable person within the organization, it will not be so miserable no matter what. In this way, you can do more with one stone and at the same time have basically zero risk. And even if you kill those gangsters, it will only be characterized as gang vendetta, and will not be noticed by the authorities. Value for money is perfect. He really deserves to be our good friend of Meteor Street. He really helps when something happens. Lin Mo, we will pay attention to those bars that look chaotic on the road. It is estimated that there will be the information we want. No problem, Commander. Lin Mo knew what Crollo was referring to, so he simply agreed. As Lin Mo and the others continued to drive, they had already entered the urban area from the outskirts of the original Camby town. The scenery outside the window also began to become colorful. Although Camby town is just a town, it is a special place because it is close to Meteor Street. Various gangs are prevalent, although it brings considerable trouble to the local security, but at the same time it also provides great help to the local economy. Therefore, Camby town is much more prosperous than ordinary towns. Is this the outside world? It looks beautiful. Pike Norden, who looked out the window with his chin in one hand, couldn't help but sigh. Ah, it's really quite different from our Meteor Street. Phaeton also answered. Humph, these guys are quite enjoying themselves, obviously they are so weak. Nobunaga said indignantly, holding the samurai sword. Well, the outside world is different from our Meteor Street. We don't completely divide status by power. Money, resources, and relationships can all become chips for identity. Crollo once again made popular science for everyone. It's a strange rule. If you don't have power, won't others just take it away? Uvajin asked in confusion. In the rules they made, grabbing is not allowed. I can't understand what they're thinking at all. Why don't people just say no? Uvajin picked his booger, and then bounced out the window. The head of the regiment doesn't need to explain so much to Uvajin, anyway, we just follow our own way. Lin Mo added. That's right, anyway, we can do it the way we like. Suddenly, Lin Mo stopped the car. Then he pointed to a bar next to the basement floor, and there were two big men at the door with fierce faces, completely guarding me. Captain, how is this? Crollo took a few glances and said, it looks pretty suitable. Then he turned his head to the others and asked, any one of you planning to visit together? This aroused everyone's interest, and they were quite curious about the outside world. They said in unison, me. So the group of people got out of the car in a mighty manner, regardless of the car behind them that kept honking their horns. Hey, you, move the car to Lao Su. Lin Mo and the others blocked was a middle-aged bald and greasy man. Looking at the gold watch on his watch, he seemed to be quite expensive. When he saw Lin Mo and the others get out of the car, and he planned to park on the road just like that, he couldn't help sticking his head out of the car window and yelling at Lin Mo and the others. It's so noisy. Lin Mo rubbed his ears and glared back at the middle-aged greasy man. The evil thoughts on his body suddenly swept away at him. Ah, the man who was about to scold something. The moment he was touched by Lin Mo's evil thoughts, he foamed at the mouth, rolled his eyes and fainted. Chapter 41. When one's own energy reaches a certain level, the effect of evil thoughts is actually similar to that of Overlord. Nobu in the original book can be regarded as a good nen among all professional hunters. As a result, he was scared by the unconscious thoughts of Pufu, one of the guards of the Ant King, and his hair fell out overnight, and he completely lost the battle. Courage. It can be seen that the mind is also quite effective in terms of coercion. A mere ordinary person, in the face of Lin Mo's increasingly familiar evil thoughts, was of course stunned without any resistance. The others glanced at Lin Mo with some envy. They also have evil thoughts, but compared with Lin Mo's evil thoughts, the gap is too big. This is the difference in air volume. I really don't know how Lin Mo cultivated, the increase in chi doesn't look like a normal person. The two guards at the entrance of the bar also discovered the situation on Lin Mo's side. I glanced at it and found that it was a group of little kids I didn't know and didn't care anymore. As doormen, they have already trained a pair of eyes with sharp eyes. If this group of little devils is mixed with the son of the boss of the city, they will definitely find out immediately. If not, then don't worry about it. It is estimated that it is just a small gangster in a neighborhood. Hey, what do you want to do? This is not a place for you to come. As they spoke, one of the doormen spotted Maki and Paikanodon in the crowd. Suddenly there was a flash of silver in front of him. The conversation changed. Forget it, you were pitiful, let you go down and see, but well, the two of them have to stay. Hearing this, Maki and Paikanodon squinted their eyes at the same time, and the murderous aura began to radiate from their bodies. Just as Maki's mind was condensed in his hands, he was about to be hanged. There was a wave of fluctuations in the space that everyone could not perceive. In an instant, Lin Mo, who was at the back of the crowd because he stunned the middle-aged greasy man, appeared in the middle of the two guards. No one saw when he appeared, nor did he have any trajectory. He just appeared here! Exclamation mark! The pupils of everyone in the brigade shrank, and they didn't even see how Lin Mo appeared here. The thoughts condensed in Maki and Paikanodon, who were about to shoot, couldn't help but stagnate. Even the people in the brigade were like this, not to mention the two trash fish guards. They just felt as if something suddenly appeared out of the corner of their eyes. Before he could react, Lin Mo moved in the next second. I saw that Lin Mo's left and right hands were wrapped by his thoughts at the same time, and constantly emitting an energy wave that could distort the space. Immediately afterwards, both hands slashed towards the faces of the two guards at the same time. The air that was swept by Lin Mo's hands clearly had a distorted wave trajectory. Puff! The heads of the two just disappeared. Not chopped off, not broken, but disappeared. Not a single trace disappeared. The two people who lost their heads, the blood from the flat fracture on the neck continued to spurt out, forming a blood fountain, and then turned into blood rain under the action of gravity. Your mouth stinks too much, uncle. Lin Mo, who should have been covered in blood, kept the blood within 3 or 4 centimeters of his body under the isolation of the unlimited technique. He didn't want to get his clothes dirty. Lin Mo, bathed in the rain of blood, may seem terrifying to passers-by. But Maki's heart warmed. She knew that the reason Lin Mo shot was for her. Pykenoden glanced at Maki with some envy, and then turned to look at Krollo's back with resentment. And Krollo thoughtfully focused his attention on Lin Mo. Hello, he is only a 13-year-old little jungtai, can you expect him to know a ball? Bombing space. According to the idea of a boss in the comment area, I chose this ability as the second nen of the protagonist. If you have any inspiration, you can leave a message in the comment area. This is the name of the ability that Lin Mo just used. It has been said before that Lin Mo has an eye for the next ability after joining the brigade. Now Lin Mo not only has the self-healing of immortal immortality but also the defense of unlimited spell. In terms of defense and treatment, it can basically be said to be full. So what he lacks now is attack and speed. As for these two abilities, it happens that Lin Mo remembers the ability of a character in an anime called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to have both. That is the stand-in for Okuyasu Hiromura, the supporting character in the 4th installment, Bombing Space. The ability to bomb a space can directly erode the space itself. Its right hand can shave off all substances, including water, fire, stone, and other substances. Regardless of the hardness and strength, it can shave off everything that actually exists in the space. Even Okuyasu himself didn't know where it was going, and even Jusuke's crazy drill couldn't fix it. At the same time, bombing the space can also directly cut off the surrounding space by waving the right hand, creating a space section, and then the nearby space will come closer. Through this spatial displacement, Okuyasu can move himself in space, or make nearby objects approach him in space by repeatedly waving his right hand. And the nen developed by Lin Mo does not have the restriction that Okuyasu can only use his right hand. Hands, feet, and even the weapons wrapped around when you use Jo. Just like the unlimited spell, theoretically, as long as it can be wrapped by Lin Mo's thoughts, bombing space can be used. At the beginning, Lin Mo thought that to complete his vision, he must be the same as the original development of the unlimited technique, and it would take at least a month or so of research to successfully develop it, or even longer. It turned out that the development of bombing space turned out to be exceptionally smooth. It may be because the space breath that comes with Lin Mo's soul is originally related to teleportation. The essence of bombing space is also to cut a part of the space, and then send it to an unknown space. So it will be so smooth. In a few days, Lin Mo completed the initial prototype of his ability, and then he only needed to carry out restrictions and vows like the unlimited spell. The reason why it has been useless before is not because Lin Mo is hiding, but because there is no chance. Because the lethality of bombing space is too powerful, and the results are irreversible. Therefore, it is not suitable to be used when sparring with Uvajin. When facing Jack, Lin Mo actually didn't plan to kill him in the first place. As the elder said, this is just a test. Who knew that Jack didn't know what was going on in his head, but he dared to kill him. Looking at his self-righteous and quite complacent appearance of his own schemes, Lin Mo decided to let him die by his own moves. So no chance to use it. Until now. Such a spectacular scene, of course, the pedestrians around also noticed it. It's just that most of them just looked at Lin Mo and his group vigilantly after being frightened, and they didn't do anything other than avoid them. It seemed that he was used to the violence that would appear in this town from time to time. It is also true that, after all, it is the growth of gangs, and basically there are 1 or 2 gang fights every day. Residents here have long been surprised. Of course, if there are numb and indifferent people in a town, there are bound to be good citizens who are still enthusiastic. No, not far away, an old woman was hiding in a small alley with a panicked face, pressing something on her mobile phone in a panic. It's not the time to be exposed yet, Lin Mo murmured to himself when he caught the old woman's movements out of the corner of his eyes. The next second, Lin Mo's right hand wrapped the power of space again, raised his hand slightly, and slashed in the direction of the old woman. Everyone in the brigade clearly saw it. With Lin Mo's right hand slashing, there was a fault in the space in front of him. Under the repair of natural laws, the space in front of Lin Mo suddenly repaired in the direction of the fault. With this repairing power, the mobile phone in the old woman's hand was directly pulled over, and then grabbed by Lin Mo. "Sorry, Grandma, my companions and I still have something to do. Can I trouble you to report to the officer later?" Lin Mo grabbed the phone in his hand and waved at the old woman with an apologetic smile on his face. Then put the phone aside on the ground that is not wet with blood. "The phone, I'll put it here first, please come and get it yourself later, Grandma." Lin Mo is not a natural-born killer. How could he be a killer in the face of an old grandmother? It's just that it's not the time for them to be exposed, so Lin Mo will take the old woman's mobile phone, as long as it is guaranteed that the official will not find it here in a short time. As for waiting for them to leave, that's fine. Anyway, it will only be regarded as an underworld vendetta. "Oh, Deputy Head, have you developed a new application for Nen? If you can ask so directly, you don't need to look to know that it is a second-hand product called Uvagen." I just researched it in the past few days. It's actually similar to the principle of the unlimited technique, but this time I will collide the space fragments that have been embodied with the space in reality, and then eliminate the space that collided in reality. Just drop it. In this way, I can not only completely eliminate the materials in this elimination space, but also use the repairing power generated by the space fault to drive my own space movement, or grab the target object in front of me. It's just nonsense in earnest. It's just bullying you guys who don't have space power. What the hell, can you still break me down? So it is. Deputy Head, you are really amazing. Uvagen looked like he understood it completely. Others couldn't help but complain. You're a fart. You don't know anything at all. But Lin Mo, your ability is really powerful. I've never heard that the ability of embodiment can achieve this level. Of course, it must be the reason why I have less knowledge now. Not only the things that have been touched, but also the abstract things like space can be realized. Crollo sincerely praised Lin Mo's ability. He felt that Lin Mo's ability was completely the limit of a person with the ability of representation. Maybe it's because space is also accessible, but it's just that most people rarely feel the existence of things. Lin Mo explained with a little guilty conscience. But after hearing Lin Mo's explanation, Crollo was a little thoughtful. It seems reasonable to say that, then maybe Lin Mo will be able to materialize time in the future. Maybe, who can tell what's going on in the future? Okay, let's go to inquire about the news first, and get the foothold on identity issues as soon as possible, and it will be troublesome when the official notices this. It also embodied time, so Lin Mo was moved. In fact, he can't even materialize space, and he can use the power of space entirely by the space attribute in his soul. Saying so, he walked down the stairs first. The two gates that were guarded before were just the gates standing on the street. This bar is a bar built under the ground, and the real door is naturally underground. It can be seen that such a setting should be very popular with those ghost fire teenagers. As Lin Mo and the others went deeper, the vibration of the music began to sound in the air. Unlike the simple signboard with only one sign on the ground, after walking down, Lin Mo found that the overall decoration of the bar was surprisingly good. The whole decoration is a kind of dark style decoration, and even the door is specially made to look like the mouth of the devil. Moreover, the number of guards has doubled from the above, and there are 4 big men who look like gang members guarding here. Seeing Lin Mo and the others coming down, the bald head frowned, picked up the walkie-talkie in his hand and asked, "Doug, what's the matter with you? Why did you let a few children down? Do they have any identities?" There was silence, and there was no response from the walkie-talkie. When Lin Mo made a move just now, the 2 trash fish didn't even react, and the pedestrians were also not surprised. So there was no commotion. It's normal that they don't know what's going on outside. Seeing that there was no answer from the walkie-talkie, the bald head shouted impatiently, "Doug! Doug!" Seeing that Lin Mo was about to come in front of him, the bald head didn't bother to look up the 2 goods upstairs to confirm the situation. Since he was not sure what Lin Mo and the others were from, the bald head still kept a certain politeness and asked, "Hello, may I ask who you are?" Seeing the bald head being so polite, Lin Mo certainly won't lose his demeanor. I'm here to ask your boss something, can you please take us there? Looking for our boss. The bald head brows slightly wrinkled, but if he can be a small boss, he won't be so impulsive to turn his face directly. We must know that their situation in Gamby Town is not very good recently, so he continues to confirm. Of course we are looking for our boss, no problem, but I need to confirm your identities first. Which family do you come from? Lin Mo blinked his big innocent eyes. Which family? We are not from any family. We are just newcomers to your land and plan to ask your boss something. After listening to Lin Mo's answer, the bald head has begun to look fierce. So you are a bunch of out-of-town stinky who don't know where to go from nowhere in the countryside. Lin Mo squeezed his chin, pretended to think for a while, and said, it's not wrong to say that you are from the countryside, but I don't know how high the sky is. I think this adjective is more suitable for you. Hearing this, the bald head couldn't bear it any longer. The gun on his waist was useless, so he punched Lin Mo directly. Then let me show you who is so ignorant. The other 3 guards next to him couldn't help laughing. Oh. I really don't know what these little devils think. If you want to kill yourself, why don't you just find a high-rise building and jump off? You have to find something for us. That's right, recently, all the bulls, ghosts, snakes and gods have dared to come to our Nasla family to find a sense of existence. Forget it, let's be good people and give them a ride. After that, the 3 of them started to draw out their pistols, ready to kill Krollo and the others behind Lin Mo. Jung. Ah, how did I fly? This is my body. That was the last thought of 2 of the doormen before they lost consciousness. As for the last one, he didn't even have an idea. The final impression is that a big fist of a clay pot is coming towards you, and then it's gone. Pa-ta! 2 human heads flying in midair fell heavily to the ground under the action of gravity. Just as the 3 of them took out their pistols, Uvajin, Nobunaga and Phaeton shot quickly, killing them in seconds. This is. How is this possible? Obviously they're just kids. The bald head of the whole body was soaked by the blood of the 3 people, and the whole body was sweating unbelievably, and even some words were incoherent. Uncle, now do you know what I mean when I mean ignorant? Lin Mo still had a polite smile on his face. The bald head was so frightened that he even forgot why the fist he threw couldn't hit Lin Mo. Now he just wants to escape from here, escape from this group of monsters. Anyone who sees the picture of a little kid who thought he was a weak chicken and then kills his 3 subordinates in a second will be scared. Ah, though Uvajin and Franklin don't look like little brats. However, how could the bald head, whose fist was fixed by Lin Mo's unlimited spell, escape? After taking a few steps back, he found that his fist was fixed in the air by an unknown force, making him unable to step back. After several unsuccessful attempts, the bald head desperately pulled his right hand with his left hand. Yet still in vain. You, sorcery. You guys are definitely monsters, monsters that have turned into human beings. Looking at the ignorant appearance of the bald head, Lin Mo lost the desire to continue talking to him. Looking back at Krollo. Captain, do you want to keep this guy? He looks like a small leader. It's okay, don't keep it. When he just hadn't figured out our identities, didn't he say that he could take us to their boss? That means their boss should be in this bar at this time. If so, then he will useless. Soga, that's it, bombing space. Lin Mo stretched out his right hand wrapped with the power of space, and slapped it up. Puff, like the 2 idiots outside the door, the art of disappearing the head. Let's go in. After using the unlimited spell to throw the gushing blood aside, Lin Mo walked at the front and pushed open the door that looked like the mouth of a demon. Boom. Zakaraka. A huge sound wave suddenly came oncoming. Feel the deafening music released by the 360-degree surround sound, and the monsters dancing on the dance floor below. From time to time, I also see people smoking unknown powders and balls. Everyone frowned in discomfort. Of course, the most important thing was that the music was so loud that Lin Mo's earwax came out. With a wave of his hand, a tissue appeared and he dug it out. Lin Mo leaned into Uvajin's ear and said something. Then Lin Mo threw them an industrial-grade noise-canceling earplug. After the demonstration, the others also followed Lin Mo and put on earplugs. When everyone was ready, Uvajin stood up and took a deep breath. His anger was concentrated in his throat. You. Shut up all of you. Call me your boss. Uvijin's enchanted loud voice overwhelmed the music in the bar. Even the walls were shaken by his roar. Pop pop pop. All the speakers were affected by Uvijin's sound attack at the same time, the circuit was damaged, and the electronic components inside burned. What's wrong? My ears. Why can't I hear? Ah, my ears hurt. The people who were still dancing happily, now covered their ears and rolled around in pain. With some bad luck, the eardrums were even shattered by Uvijin's roar. And most of them were directly stunned. Looking at the bar that has quieted down except for a few screams from time to time, Linmo nodded with satisfaction. Sure enough, you have to use magic to deal with magic. It didn't take long for a group of people to run out of the secret doors on both sides of the bar. Behind him was a fat man who ran out wearing a pair of pants before he had time to wear his clothes. Looking at the left Qinglong and the right white tiger in his suit, the driver should be the boss here, right? While walking, he scratched his ears with his hands, and cursed in his mouth. What kind of idiot is making a fuss here? It's making Lao Su almost paralyzed. You are so talented. After coming out and standing still, I looked at the morning guests all over the floor. The fat man froze for a moment. He passed through layers of sound insulation just now, and was just taken aback. He didn't expect it to be so tragic. Now the only people standing in the audience are Linmo and the others. It's clear who did it. The fat man who reacted directly pointed at Uvijin. It's just you, right? You're sent over there to do things. Are there any of you who don't talk about martial arts? Are you directly attacking the guests? What a slap in the face. Quote. At this time Krollo unplugged his earplugs and stood up from behind Uvijin with a smile on his face. You're the boss here, right? We're going to have some troubles this time. But this time Krollo made a mistake. Everyone is old, and they are not ready to listen to what Krollo wants to say. You've come directly to play other people's games, and hostility is definitely hostile. Now that you have determined your position, why are you still talking so much nonsense? I saw Fatty wave his hand. Hush your horse. Give me a hand. A row of big men in suits with machine guns pulled the trigger immediately. Da 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 da. Intense flames suddenly burst out from the barrel. Looking at the fat man who played cards out of line, Krollo's face stiffened, and everyone in the brigade also dodged. Today, they have not yet reached the point where they can block bullets with their flesh. Only Lin Mo burst out laughing. It was the first time he had seen Krollo look so embarrassed. Stepping out one step, he blocked directly in front of Maki and Pike Norden. Now both women can't dodge bullets in terms of physical function. Unlimited spell activate. All the bullets stopped in front of Lin Mo, and they couldn't go any further. The more they can't shoot Lin Mo, the more they have to shoot at Lin Mo. As more and more bullets shot towards Lin Mo, a wall of bullets soon formed in front of Lin Mo. Things that transcended their common sense just happened in front of them in such a high-sounding manner. All the gangsters have dilated eyes and pupils, looking in horror at Lin Mo, who is still smiling like a god. Kaka. They didn't react until the sound of machine gun bullets emptying. Fatty was no longer an old man, and when he heard the sound of bullets emptying, he knew the game was over. Just now, most of the people's attention was on Lin Mo alone, ignoring the few people who had dodged from the beginning. Now the only firearm they could rely on was scrap metal. That, call out. Fatty didn't even have time to turn his head, and a few bursts of air came through. In just an instant, there were 7 or 8 people with different heads. The coquettish blood flowers exploded in the crowd. Uvijin, Nobunaga, Phaeton, Franklin, and Krollo were like ruthless killing machines at the moment, unrivaled in the crowd. No one is their one enemy. When the fat man turned around, he could only see Krollo, whose face was covered in blood, smiling and looking at him. And the stumps and broken arms all over the ground. More than 30 big gangsters were actually wiped out by 5 of them in the time Fatty turned around. Ha, cool, Uvijin, who was bathed in blood, shouted with his arms outstretched. The others were similar, and they all seemed to be crawling out of a sea of corpses and blood. Even Franklin's once loyal face turned terrifying now. Krollo saw that his legs were limp and completely lost his arrogant appearance. The fat man who fell to the ground said to him in a gentle tone. The world is so beautiful, but you are so impatient, so bad, you haven't heard what I want to say. Why did you order the shooting? Hearing Krollo's opening, the fat man jumped up and knelt at Krollo's feet. Yes. You were right. I'm so impatient, it's really inappropriate. I'll give you anything you want. I'm wrong. If you have a lot, please spare me once. Krollo put his hands on the fat man's somewhat sparse head. Ah, a little greasy. Originally, Krollo planned to put his hand on the fat man's head to increase the pressure on him. Who knew this fat man's head was so oily? This Nima hasn't washed his hair for a few days. After silently withdrawing his hand, Krollo said, so, now tell me, which family do you belong to? The Nasla family, Fatty replied without any hesitation. Second question, where is your boss's address? Villa number 21 at Chinkora Point. He didn't hesitate at all when it came to selling the boss. The third question, how is your boss's defense? Because they have been targeted by the Fanobi family recently, the boss's defense force will be a little more than usual, there are probably more than 50 gunmen. He still answered without hesitation. Captain, I see how straightforward he answered. It's very likely that he lied to us, so let me torture him. The fat man simply aroused Phaeton's suspicion, and Yinsisi suggested beside Krollo. As soon as he heard that he was going to torture himself, Fatty was shocked again. This time, he kowtowed directly to Krollo and Phaeton. Don't. I can't stand torture the most, don't torture me, I'm telling the truth. You have to believe me. Tears streamed down as he spoke. In fact, this fat man has always climbed up by relying on the scary appearance of Zuo Qinglong and the right white tiger, as well as some clever and decisive means. In fact, he has never fought in a fight. Whenever the film is about to start, he seems to be rushing forward but actually retreats. So once all of his younger brothers were wiped out, he would be revealed. Looking at the two fat men, Krollo and Phaeton, who were crying heartbroken, they couldn't help but twitch the corners of their mouths. Is this guy really a gangster? What's wrong, Commander? Did you ask anything? Seeing that they were almost resolved, Lin Mo threw the bullet wall into the corner and walked over with Maki and Pykenoden and asked. Krollo hesitated, he was a little unsure about this fat man now. Logically speaking, no matter how weak the underworld people are, they won't be frightened and become like this all of a sudden. But if you say he is acting, then Krollo can only say that I won't watch the Golden Man next year without him. Just when he saw Pike Nuoden walking behind Lin Mo, his eyes lit up. Pulled Pike Norden and said, Pike, come and see if this fat man is lying. The cheeks of Pykenoden, who was pulled by Krollo, were a little red. Hearing this, he began to look at the fat man who was crying with snot and tears. You repeat what you just said. Yes, yes, as long as you don't torture me, let me do anything. The fat man repeated what he just said. Krollo looked at Pykenoden and asked, well, did he lie? No, he's telling the truth. Pykenoden didn't see any sign of lying. Tisk, Phaeton tutted angrily. Phaeton felt a pity for not being able to torture Fatty. Since Pykenoden said so, it must be true. Everyone in the brigade is very aware of Pykenoden's special abilities. With the affirmation of Pykenoden, the fat man grabbed Krollo's trousers as if he had caught a life-saving straw. Look, I said I didn't lie, I've already told you everything I know, can you let it go? Past me. Do you want to let him go? Krollo kicked the fat man aside, his eyes flickered for a while, it's okay to let you go. Finally, let me ask you a question, why did the Fanobi family target your Nasla family? Thank you, sir, there are a lot of them. The Fanobi family is the strongest gangster in our Camby town. It has ruled Camby town for 60 years, and our Nasla family is just a new family. We secretly tried to trade with Meteor Street more than a month ago. After the Fanobi family knew about this, they thought it was a provocation by our Nasla family, so they have been suppressing us all this time. Now our Nasla family has managed 5 streets from the original, and now there are only 2 left. If this continues, the Nasla family may be destroyed as a result. It was about his own life, and Fatty told everything he knew. The Nasra family, why is this name so familiar? After hearing Fatty's words, Lin Mo also walked over. This badge. This is the badge your companions wore when I picked you up. Maki picked up a badge from the corpse. Oh, in that case, your Nasla family is the one who bought me. After hearing Maki's words, Lin Mo suddenly realized. I said why it was so familiar, it turned out to be when I received Mo's memory. Ha, Fatty looked at Lin Mo in disbelief. Is our Nasla family so powerful? Can you even buy such a monster? In other words, if you bought it, why would it be intercepted and annihilated by Fanobi? Ahahaha, then I have a good relationship with you Nasla. Lin Mo squatted on the ground and patted the fat man on the shoulder, laughing loudly. How is it, Captain, do you want to let him go? Or, after the joke, Lin Mo looked at Krollo with a playful look and asked. Bowling. Bowling. Fatty tried his best to open his tiny eyes and looked at Krollo pleadingly. Forget it, for the sake of his cooperation. Chloe, who was stared at by the fat man, was really disgusting and waved his hand. Forget it, let it go. No. You can't let him go. Halfway through Krollo's words, he was interrupted by a weak-sounding female voice. Zunsheng looked around, and saw that the secret door that Fatty and the others came out of was being opened by a blonde young girl who was bruised and covered with only a sheet. At this moment, she was leaning against the door weakly, staring at her with extremely hateful eyes, still maintaining a pitiful look on her face. The girl walked slowly with some staggering steps. Facing the brigade who were covered in blood like a demon, she didn't even have a trace of fear, and all her attention was on the fat man. The black air of resentment emanated from the girl. While staggering, the girl said in a weak voice, "This scum, trash, pervert. Whether you are demons or gods, I beg you, please don't let this disgusting guy." While talking, tears began to flow out of the girl's eyes, but the girl still ignored it and stared at the fat man kneeling on the ground. The fat man cursed inwardly. Previously, he was playing his own perverted game in the house, and was drawn out by Uvajan's roar. I thought it was some blind person making trouble in the store, so I ran out without locking the door in a hurry, and I didn't even have time to put on my clothes. Unexpectedly, this woman ran away, and she was still making trouble for herself at such a critical moment. Originally, those two words were about to come out of Krollo's mouth. At this moment, the mentality of a fat man who had been keeping humble as dust began to collapse. You woman, who asked you to come out and make trouble? You're going to die for me. With anger rising, Fatty was so excited that he was about to stand up from the ground. Jung. A cold light flashed, Fatty's right leg flew into the air, and blood bloomed again in the air. Hey, who allowed you to get up? Nobunaga slowly put away the knife in his hand with an indifferent expression. Ah, my feet, my feet. The belated pain finally reached Fatty's brain at this time. The fat man held the cross-section of his right leg that kept spouting blood, and kept rolling, causing him to cry in pain. The girl who saw this scene couldn't help laughing morbidly. Ha 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 ha. You deserve it, a scum like you deserves to be slashed by 1,000 swords. Although I don't know exactly what happened, just looking at the girl's appearance can make up a lot of the dark side of human nature. Maki and Paikanadan are both women and can feel the same way. The murderous aura began to flow out of them uncontrollably. As for Lin Mo, there are two kinds of people I hate the most in my life, one is human traffickers. And the other is compulsion. Poof poof, two flying knives appeared in Lin Mo's hand. With a wave of his wrist, the flying knives accurately penetrated Fatty's two hands and fixed them on the ground. It's been a long time since I used the skills that come with my body. The fat man whose two palms were inserted by Lin Mo's flying knives and fixed on the ground let out two wailings again. Then, Lin Mo walked in front of the girl, grabbed his right hand, and a small and sharp dagger appeared and was held by Lin Mo. It seems that there should be some personal hatred between you and him. Our search for him is over, so the rest of the time is left to you. With that, Lin Mo handed the dagger to the girl. The girl stared blankly at the dagger in her hand, as if she hadn't reacted. Leader, let's go, it's time to do the next business. After Lin Mo greeted Krollo and the others, he stepped out of the door. Maki looked at Lin Mo's back with a smile on the corner of his mouth, and followed in Lin Mo's footsteps. Others began to follow after seeing this. At this time, the girl finally came back to her senses, and bowed to the back of the brigade leaving. Thank you. Thank you, really, thank you so much. After the brigade had completely left, the girl raised her head, her eyes bursting with intense anger and the deep-rooted resentment. Raising the dagger in his hand, he rushed directly to the fat man who was immobilized on the ground. Seeing this, the fat man couldn't care about howling, and looked at the girl's figure getting closer and closer in horror. What do you want to do? Don't forget who I am. I'm from the Nasra family. If you dare to do anything to me, your relatives and friends will not have a good time. Don't come here. I was wrong. I really knew I was wrong. Ah. By the time they were discovered again, the fat man had already changed beyond recognition. 60% of his body had been cut off, and he didn't even look like a human being. And the girl committed suicide with a serene look on her face. The whole scene was eerie and terrifying, but also had a poignant beauty. After coming out of the bar, there were basically no pedestrians on this road. Not because it was too late, but the two headless corpses at the door, and the blood spraying all over the place. Anyone with discernment knows what is going on here. People who live here clearly understand a truth, that is, if you want to live well, you must avoid any troublesome things. It is estimated that when the official comes out and sweeps the floor, the place will return to normal. But that's fine, lest the 5 of Uvajin and the others come out all covered in blood, which would probably scare a lot of people. After returning to the car, Linmo sat back in the driver's seat. Okay, then now let's go to Chinkora Cape 21. Halfway through, Linmo suddenly noticed something very bad. That is, although they know the name of the place, no one knows how to get there. Does anyone of you know how to get to Chinkora Corner? Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. After Lin Mo's reminder, everyone reacted. Yes, although we know the name of the place, we don't know where to go. Should I go back and find that girl and let her take me there? But isn't the force we created just now falling to the ground? Seeing everyone looking at each other, Maki rubbed his forehead with a headache. What a bunch of idiots. Then he took out a map that I didn't know where I got it and said, "Here, I have a tourist introduction map of Kambi town, and it says how to get to Chinkora Point." Oh, Maki, this is really helpful, but where did you get this map? Lin Mo took the map and asked curiously. Just when you were fighting to death just now, I took it from the bar. I thought it might be useful, so I took one. Lin Mo was convinced, and it was probably still the credit of Maki's magical sixth sense. Boom. The engine was roaring wildly. After getting the route, Lin Mo flew out with a kick of the accelerator. It's been a long day today, it's time to take a good rest. Just when Lin Mo and the others drove to Villa number 21 at Chinkora Point. At this time, in Villa number 21 at Chinkora Point, a black-haired man in his 30s who had lost the charm of a middle-aged man was lying on the boss chair and receiving a report from his close guard. Boss, our shadow bar on Emerald Street is suspected to be attacked by the Fanobi family, and the two brothers at the door were reported to be headed by people. After listening to the report, the black-haired man looked solemn. Can you be sure? Are you sure it was Fanobi's hand? Hearing this, the black-haired man with the black-haired man in the suit and the short-headed sunglasses, the standard bodyguard-like big man shook his head mechanically. I can't be 100% sure that it was Fanobi's hand, but only Fanobi dares to behead such a rampant street beheading in Gambi town. After all, the official face will be protected a little except Fanobi. The black-haired man collapsed on the black leather boss chair, his expression a little broken. Fanobi, these fools, what are you trying to do? Do you really intend to kill them all? Just because we went to Meteor Street to recruit people. Quote, we are not recruiting people to provoke their dominance. It's just to deal with the provocation of the Bolan family. I don't believe that the Fanobi family will not know about this. Don't look at the dark-haired man's usual calm expression, as if everything is in his hands. In fact, he is a tailwind dog. In a tailwind situation, it is called a high-spirited person. Once he encounters a headwind situation, his mentality will quickly collapse. And it seems that the big man in the suit is not surprised by the collapse of his own boss. Others in the organization do not know the personality of the boss. As the most close follower, can he not know? Boss, what we have to decide now is whether to arrange for reinforcements, or do I need to go there? While speaking, the iron-blooded breath from the big man really made people look at him. His name is Bart, and he is a mercenary rescued by Right Nasla, a black-haired man accidentally 3 years ago, and he is also a mercenary with certain strength. Because of Bart's increasing strength in the mercenary regiment, and his increasing success, he even opposed the regiment leader's opinion on the open face many times. So of course they face the cleanup of the head of their mercenary regiment. Facing the head's plot to kill, Bart fled all the way to this small town that belongs to the mainland border. I met Right Nosla, who had nothing to do at the time, but his heart was higher than the sky. The moment Right Nosla saw Bart, he realized that his fate had come to an inflection point. So let Nosla at that time even sacrificed his whole family to be killed by killers sent by the head of the mercenary regiment in order to save Bart. But even so, Right Nosla tried his best to protect Bart. The final result, I believe everyone can think of, is that Bart successfully recovered under the care of Right Nosla and killed the captain. Bart has since swore allegiance to Right Nosra. And Right Nosla also successfully developed into the current Nosla family by virtue of Bart's force and his own cleverness. It's a pity that Right Nosla is just a lucky, ruthless little gangster after all. As his status got higher and higher, he also became more and more afraid of death. Instead of using such a combat power as Bart, he ordered Bart to stay by his side 24 hours a day. Otherwise, to deal with a Bolin family, he doesn't need to go to Meteor Street to buy personnel, it is enough to bring a group of younger brothers with Bart's strength. This will not lead to the fate of being targeted by the Fanobi family, the overlord of Camby Town. Therefore, the more Right Nosra with such a nature, the more he only cares about his own life at this critical moment, and now he is no longer the little gangster who had nothing but desperately at the time. No, you have to stay here, they are likely to ignore me directly and come over to solve me. Besides, it's too late now, right, after you passed, they've already left, this time even if Right. In the face of Right Nosla's insistence, Bart couldn't say anything. In fact, when he was a mercenary, he didn't want to betray the mercenary group, and he never meant to rebel against the head of the group. It's just that at that time he was outspoken and said anything. Unexpectedly, his behavior would be considered a kind of rebellion by the then regiment commander. After going through this incident, Bart would never refute Right Nosla from now on, even if he had a different idea in his heart, he would never say it. Bart could only sigh silently in the bottom of his heart, and he was already prepared to sacrifice here. Bart's mercenaries see it much more clearly than Right Nosla, the underworld never relies on force, but deterrence. Hit a punch to avoid 100 punches. If you don't resist today, a bunch of hyenas will come and bite you tomorrow. Just when the two fell silent, there was a sudden burst of gunshots from outside the yard. Right Nosra immediately stood up in shock from the boss's chair. Could it be Fanobi and the others? Are they really here? How dare they? This is a key tourist area in Camby Town. The reason why Right Nosla bought this villa was because he saw that Cape Coral was a key tourist attraction in Camby Town. Even the Fanobi family, you don't have to give the official face, you can do anything like killing people in the street, and the official can turn a blind eye. But you can't directly draw the official face, right? This is a key publicity attraction representing the face of Camby Town. Bart's eyes narrowed, he already felt something was wrong, and he began to suspect that the group of people who attacked Sombra today and the villa now were probably not gangsters. Just as the two were suspicious, one of the younger brothers slammed open the door and rushed in. "Boss, Mr. Bart, there are some monsters outside. We can't stop it." Quote. How many monsters? Bart keenly captured the key words in his younger brother's mouth. Yes, The little brother at the door was about to answer something when suddenly a sword light flashed from top to bottom. Then, a blood line began to slowly appear on his forehead, and then spread all the way to his crotch. The next second, the whole person was evenly divided into two halves. The blood spurted out in a large amount, making the originally white carpet completely red with blood. As the younger brother was knocked down by the corpse in two pieces, a prodigal son with a samurai hair combed his head and looked a little sloppy came into the eyes of Bart and Right Nosla. Originally, Nobunaga, who had really closed the knife and pretended to be aggressive, broke the defense in the next second. The reason is that a gang member who was beaten beyond recognition wiped his face, smashed the wall and flew over. Uvijin, can you watch when you hit someone? Nobunaga, who was interrupted and pretended to be forced, suddenly had a blue vein on his forehead forming a cross. Sorry, next time. Ha 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 ha. As soon as he heard this, he knew that Uvijin was definitely perfunctory. At this time, Bart and Right Nosla noticed that outside the door, it had become a Shira scene. Blood, pieces of meat, human tissue that exploded everywhere, all kinds of tattered corpses and broken limbs. At this time, Bart and Right Nosla finally noticed that outside the door, it had become a scene of Shira. Not to mention Right Nosla, who had been frightened and slumped on the boss's chair again, and even Bart, who had seen all kinds of hell, couldn't keep his calm at the moment. How long has it been since the gunshots rang out? 5 minutes or 10 minutes? There are 50 sought-after people buried in this villa. Not to mention 50 most sought-after people, even 50 pigs could not be killed in such a short period of time. The next second, all 8 members of the brigade filed in. Child. After seeing Lin Mo's faces, Bart's eyes trembled in shock. They were all so young that Bart couldn't believe it. All members are under the age of 20. This is Bart's judgment. Even if Uvijin and Franklin are a little old, they can still easily judge their specific age under Bart's countless eyes. And the smallest. After glancing at Maki, Bart didn't know what to say. 11 years old. No more than 12 years old. 8 children were able to kill 50 sought-after players in such a short period of time. It makes Bart feel like he's been living with dogs for most of his life. Hello, my name is Krollo. This is our partner. Since your people were too warm just now, we had to give a gift in return. Please forgive me if there is any disturbance. Krollo stepped forward from the crowd and spoke softly and politely. Do you call those stumps and broken arms outside the salute? Bart's face twitched involuntarily. At this moment, Right Nosla had been completely frightened and temporarily lost his language ability. He had no choice but to communicate with Bart. After a long silence, what's your purpose? Bart didn't intend to talk to Krollo, and asked straight to the point. Krollo pretended to helplessly spread out his hands. Actually, we really just want to come here to seek friendly cooperation, but your people seem to be more sensitive. This time it was Bart's turn to twitch the corners of his eyes. Cooperation. Have you cooperated like this? You killed all of our people, and you still have a ball. But man is a knife and I am a fish. No matter how much dissatisfaction there is in my heart, I can only hold it back. Such is the truth of the world. So Bart can only follow Krollo's words and say, then what kind of cooperation do you want to have with our Nosla family? It's nothing. I just want you to help us get a legal ID, and then we will live here during this time. Proof of identity. Are you from Meteor Street? They heard Krollo asking for proof of identity. Bart instantly realized where they came from. Does your elders of Meteor Street know what happened to you? Hey, Krollo couldn't help laughing. You don't seem to understand the situation. Are you questioning us now? Krollo put away his previous smile, stabbed Bart like a knife in his eyes, and began to exude a malicious thought to Bart. Bart, who felt the evil thoughts on Krollo's body, instantly woke up, and before he knew it, the clothes on his back were soaked in cold sweat. What the hell did I just do? After 3 years in the underworld, Bart began to be infected with the habit of underworld, and even subconsciously began to look for loopholes in Krollo's words, trying to regain his dominance. Brain pumped. What I am facing now is not the underworld that I have dealt with in the past. The other party is a real monster. And he actually tried to take the initiative in the dialogue with the monster. While Krollo and Bart were having a friendly exchange, Lin Mo turned his attention to the frightened Right Nosla. By the way, how does this uncle feel so familiar? And the name Nosla is also, it should not only appear in Mo's memory. To be honest, if he heard the name Nyan Nasra, Lin Mo would definitely immediately remember who he was. But just based on the 3 words of Nosla, Lin Mo can only have an impression at most. Unless I immediately perform self-hypnosis now and bring my memory back to when I watched the anime. Just when Bart's brain turned quickly, he wanted to ease the misunderstanding just now. Papa, a lowly voice with a crying voice suddenly sounded from the door. This crisp lowly sound broke the deadlock that had fallen into silence. Everyone in the room looked for Fame. I saw a little lowly with purple and blue hair, holding a teddy bear, standing timidly at the door of the room, watching everyone in the room at a loss. Nyan has 2 versions of hair color, one red and one purple, so let's use the purple version here. The blood left outside the door had already soaked little Loli's white and tender feet. And the little Loli also obviously had a frightened expression, with tears hanging in her eyes, looking pitiful. Little Loli's Papa finally awakened Let Nosla, whose brain stopped working. Nyan, Right Nosla shouted, jumping up and rushing towards little Loli. Tisk. One or two, or all of you Nasla family so brave. Phaeton clicked his tongue and began to draw out the rapier hidden in the umbrella, about to remove right Nasla's legs. Who knew that the sword was just half drawn when Lin Mo pressed it back? Phaeton gave Lin Mo a surprised look. Lin Mo didn't say anything, just shook his head at him. Seeing Lin Mo's actions, Nobunaga silently put away the knife. The others, although they were a little puzzled as to why Lin Mo wanted to stop Phaeton, but a few Lin Mo shot, there must be his reason. Lin Mo's reason for stopping Phaeton is simple. It was because of right Nasra's neon, that finally reminded Lin Mo who this Nasra was. I have to let Lin Mo sigh, fate is amazing. According to the original description, the Nasla family was originally a family in a remote and small place. Later, relying on her daughter Nyan Nasla's predictive ability, she climbed to a high-level position second only to the 10 old men, so it was often looked down upon by other gangsters, but he believes that the key to his success lies in mastering the intelligence of the future. The provocative behavior of other gangsters is regarded as, the jealous face of a man is really ugly. Unexpectedly, this so-called remote small place turned out to be in the town of Camby around Meteor Street. And he just chose this Camby town among several towns that are in line with Meteor Street. If it's this Nasra, it's really not surprising that he would be so weak. Not only Nasra, but also the fat man in the bar before. What kind of boss will have what kind of younger brother? Lin Mo glanced at him with disdain, and was embracing Nyan's right Nasla in distress. Right Nasra is a very enterprising careerist in the original book, and he will not pass up any opportunity to climb up. At that time, after learning that the Yin Beast had been wiped out in the Yukushin incident, when 10 old men planned to hire a professional killer team, he asked Kurapika, who had captured members of the brigade, to join it. The purpose is to use this to make his name known to the underworld group. And don't look at him being fond of Nyan, and even put the most powerful master around him, Dazzle, by Nyan's side for personal protection. It seems that he values his daughter's life more than himself. In fact, his doting on his daughter Nyan is all due to Nen's angel's automatic note. His kindness to Nyan is purely out of the desire to use his abilities to grab money, status, and power. He believes that as long as he can freely use his accurate predictive ability, he can even control the entire world, and it is no longer a dream to reach the status of 10 old men. Therefore, when Nyan lost his ability to predict, he fell into a deep despair and was on the verge of collapse. Simply put, he's a tailwind dog. Killing with the wind, throwing in seconds against the wind. The reason why Lin Mo stopped Phaeton from shooting, of course, was not because of this disgusting man. But for Nyan. Don't think about it, Lin Mo is not greedy for other people's bodies, now Nyan is only about 4 years old. What Lin Mo likes about Nyan is entirely because of her ability, or in other words, her talent. Nyan Nasra is the eldest lady of the Nasra family, and in the future she will become a collector of human bodies including bones, organs, internal organs and even fecal fossils. The character is very simple and lovely. In the original novel, facing a stranger like Krollo who suddenly appeared, not only did he easily believe the other party, but he also divination for the other party for free. At the same time with a little bit of cleverness and indulgence. He is very indifferent to strangers, but at the same time he is very serious about the people around him. This is quite in line with Lin Mo's appetite. Nen is Angel's automatic notes. It manifests itself in the form of prophetic poetry. It can make a prediction for the next month for the divination object in the form of abstract poetry, which is presented in 4 paragraphs, each corresponding to the future of a week. To activate the ability, you need to know the name, date of birth, and blood type of the divination object, and then write down the divination poems on the same piece of paper. If the other party is not present, you need a recent photo of the other party. If there is an ominous prophecy, as long as you follow the warning and prevent it in advance, you can avoid it. The limitation is that capable people cannot predict their own future. This is also a kind of restriction and oath. This is a rare time-based Nen in the world of Hunter x Hunter. The most important thing is her Nen awakening method. Contrary to what many people say, Lin Mo doesn't think she is a natural Nen. According to Lin Mo's impression, she should have watched a fortune-telling TV show called Grandmother of the Galaxy and became very interested in fortune-telling. Then one day in the future, Nen will automatically awaken. And also got Nen directly without opening or a nodes. He didn't start thinking until the original book came out. If Lin Mo's guess is correct, Nyan's talent may still be on top of the fourth prince of the Kajin Empire, Celadonish Twisted Pork. You must know that Celadonic Twice's talent can directly kill Gon and Kahlua, the two protagonists of Hunter x Hunter. From knowing the existence of mind to opening mind naturally, Celadonic Twice Pot was awakened so naturally just through the way of Tita's nonsense. You know, Tita didn't plan to let Celadonic Twice Pork master the power of mind at all. That's why she said that the awakening method was based on her random words, and as a result, Celadonic Twice Cooked Meat actually awakened the ability to read by the way she said nonsense afterwards. All the geniuses in the world seemed like a joke in front of him. And it didn't take long for him to develop his own Nen, and he was also a time-related Nen like Nyan. When Celadonic Twice Cooker closes his eyes and keeps his absolute state, he can see his future 10 seconds later through the eyes of the beast behind him. What's even more tricky is that after Celadonic Twice opened his eyes, he could use the 10 seconds of pre-prediction to change the future, but the other party still saw the history before it was changed. The most direct manifestation is that Tita once blew the head of Celadonic Twice with a gun. And Celadonic Twitched Pork ducked in time after seeing the future. But what Tita saw in his eyes was that Celadonic Twice Pork was headshot. 10 seconds later, the real world overlapped with the world in Celadonic Wiguo's naked eyes, covering his own reality with the reality of reality. Tita can see the reality that Celadonic Twisted Pork is all right. This Nen horror is that Celadonic Wiguo has 10 seconds to attack Tita at will, and Tita does not know it. This is almost an invincible Nen. The only two-time series Nen in the original book were awakened by two human collectors, Nyan and Celadonic Twister. Having said that, is there any special bonus to the identity or hobby of a human body collector? Why are two-time related abilities both human body collectors? And the reason why Lin Mo's so Nyan's talent may still be higher than that of Celadonic Twice Pot Meat is because no one can directly awaken Nen by skipping the opening of reading. Except Nyan and Aluga. Everyone knows that Aluka is because Jaeger Zoldyck, the father of Zeno Zoldyck, was infected with Nanika when he returned from the Dark Continent. Then he appeared on Aluka after a few generations, so strictly speaking, Aluka never awakened Nen. He just shared a body with Nanika, and his powers came from Nanika, a product of the Dark Continent. And Nyan, she is definitely a pure human being, and even if her talent can't surpass Celadonic Twice's pork, at least she can be on par with him. To be honest, from Lin Mo's point of view, Nyan feels a bit like Bengyu. Because of his interest in divination, he himself awakened to the ability of divination. Isn't this Nima a proper Bengyu? That alone makes it worth Lin Mo's efforts to stop Faden. Just like a certain blonde pseudo-loli, Nyan is radiating an extremely bright light in Lin Mo's eyes at this moment. Raw stone. Absolutely unprecedented rough stone. It's decided, Nyan, your apprentice Lin Mo, have accepted it. Right Nasla hugged Nyan tightly, looked at everyone in the brigade nervously, and said discouraged. You can do whatever you want, as long as you don't hurt the three of us. It can be seen that Right Nasla is still a little clever, and the reason why he compromised directly is because he has understood that he has no ability to resist. The second is because as long as Bart is there, then he can start all over again. The big deal is to go to another city. All in all, when you can't resist, you can only choose the way with the lowest loss. Hearing this, Krollo's face returned to the initial smile, just as he was about to say something. Lin Mo on the side reached out to stop him. Krollo glanced at Lin Mo, and without saying anything, he stepped aside in cooperation. Anyway, as long as the purpose of identity and foothold can be achieved, Lin Mo can do anything else he wants. Don't get me wrong, we all said it was a deal. Of course, we won't take your things for nothing. I heard before that you and the Fanobi family seem to have some conflicts, right? We can help you solve it. Even, it's no problem to help you directly replace the Fanobi family as the ruler of this town. Didn't you see it just now? As long as we think about it, we have such power. Lin Mo's words were like the whispers of a demon, full of endless magic. Even, it's no problem to help you directly replace the Fanobi family as the ruler of this town. Didn't you see it just now? As long as we think about it, we have such power. Lin Mo's words were like the whispers of a demon, full of endless magic. Right Nasla, who would sacrifice everything in order to climb to a high position, was instantly moved. His eyes are full of greed, but he still maintains a considerable sense. So what do we need to pay? If it's just identity and place of residence, it shouldn't be enough. Oh, you still understand very well. Identity and residence are the price of saving your life. Of course, it is not enough to want us to take action. Lin Mo looked at Right Nasla said. Then what we have to pay, as long as you see it, I can give it to you except our lives. A flash of determination flashed in Right Nasla's eyes. Today's surprise may become an opportunity. Just like saving Bard at the beginning, his parents and brothers were all brutally killed, but after getting through it, this is an opportunity. An opportunity to change your destiny. Anyway, even without them, if Fanobi targets him, he will be destroyed by them soon. If so, why not take a gamble? You have nothing to lose, do you? At this moment, Right Nasra seemed to be returning to the time when he met the dying Bard. He knew that saving the other party would definitely bring him trouble, but he saved it anyway. Facts have proved that his original decision was extremely correct. Of course, this correctness was for himself. Seeing Right Nasla being so decisive, Lin Mo's mouth curved into a nasty arc. I want your daughter. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. As soon as Lin Mo said this, everyone in the audience was stunned instantly. Everyone looked at Lin Mo with a strange look. Maki even looked at Lin Mo angrily, if it wasn't for the fact that she didn't feel any nausea. She had already hanged Lin Mo on the spot with the chanting thread. Ah, this. Nyan is only 4 years old this year, this. You. Right Nasla's language system is a little confused. I originally thought that Lin Mo would either submit himself to him from now on, or he would give him a share of all the money he made in the future. He really didn't think that Lin Mo would be such a request. After looking at Lin Mo again, he looks very good looking, and he can even be called a rare handsome man. With your appearance, there must be no shortage of women when you walk outside. Why does this hobby happen? Right Nasla deepened the discord among the crowd. Maki didn't even call Lin Mo, and directly called him the deputy head. Deputy head, I think you haven't woken up today, do you want me to help you wake up? Saying that, Maki clenched his hands, and a thought line flashing with cold light appeared in the middle. Crollo also analyzed it very seriously. Oh, it turns out that Lin Mo's preference is for female human juveniles. This must be recorded. Lin Mo, who was a little embarrassed after being told by everyone, and with that strange gaze, couldn't help roaring. What the hell, you guys are perverts. When did I say that I asked Nyan to come over like this? Can't you all see it? Nyan is a genius. I beg you to use Ning to take a good look, can you? Don't do business all day long. After listening to Lin Mo's explanation, everyone in the brigade focused their energy on their eyes with suspicion, and used condensation to observe Nyan. This is. After turning on congeal, everyone finally found out what was special about Nyan. The rest of Nyan is no different from normal people, all of which are traces of life energy that are slowly released unintentionally. But Nyan's right hand, for some unknown reason, gathered a scrutinizing chi. In fact, the moment Nyan appeared on the stage, Lin Mo subconsciously used congeal to observe her. After discovering Nyan's anomaly, Lin Mo judged that Nyan is expected to wake up within a day or two. Angel's automatic note. Calculate the time, it should be about the same. After all, there is no Lin Mo and the others in the original book, so the Nasla family targeted by the Fanobi family should be facing an existential crisis at this time. If there is any turning point that can turn the Nathra family into a safe place, it is only Nyan's Angel's automatic note. That is to say, the large amount of chi gathered in Nyan's hands at the moment is the precursor to the awakening of Angel's automatic note, but it's just a group of ordinary people here, so I can't find it. After seeing Nyan's anomaly, everyone in the brigade finally guessed what Lin Mo wanted to do. All of them suddenly realized, their eyes changed from original strangeness to admiration. Seeing that they understood, Lin Mo continued with a bit of anger. I usually tell you to use Ning if you have nothing to do, but you must not listen. If you don't use Ning, don't you miss a peerless genius. Quote. Humph. Although he knew he had misunderstood Lin Mo, Maki still didn't intend to admit his mistake, and turned his head arrogantly, but his cheeks were a little red. Who knows if you have other goals? I was wrong, but I just don't admit it. Lin Mo likes not female human juveniles. Crollo. Head Lin Mo stopped calling, and called out Crollo directly. After the farce, Lin Mo stretched out his right hand to Nyan, who was scared and curious, and showed a gentle smile at the same time. Nyan, are you willing to be my disciple? Although Right Nosla couldn't understand what Lin Mo said, condensation genius, what did he mean? But he understood Lin Mo's last sentence, disciple. It seemed that he had misunderstood. He had already made up his mind that he might sacrifice Nyan. I didn't expect that Lin Mo said that he wanted his daughter to be such a way. Right Nosla couldn't help blushing. If your excellency is referring to asking Nyan to be your teacher, there is no problem at all. No, it should be said that this is Nyan's honor. After speaking, Right Nosla turned her head and said softly to little Nyan, who was a little overwhelmed by the mention of her name. Come on, Nyan, have you seen the handsome silver-haired big brother in front of you? Little Nyan looked in the direction Right Nosla pointed, and when he saw Lin Mo looking at him tenderly, he couldn't help blushing. Although he is only a child, he already has a clear ability to distinguish between beauty and ugliness. Somewhat shyly nodded and said, I see, Papa. From now on, this big brother will be little Nyan's master. Come on, let's go over and call your father a master. As he spoke, he took Nyan's little hand and brought it to Lin Mo. Although he didn't quite understand the meaning of the word, master, Nyan was still very obedient and whispered to Lin Mo. Hello, master. Seeing Nyan's well-behaved appearance directly melted Lin Mo's heart. Ah, the girl's heart of the old man. Hello, master. Seeing Nyan's well-behaved appearance directly melted Lin Mo's heart. Ah, the girl's heart of the old man. He squatted down and hugged Nyan gently. Yoshi Yoshi, Nyan is good, my name is Lin Mo, Nyan, you can call me master in the future, and you will learn from master in the future. Oh. Being picked up by a good-looking big brother who just met, Nyan's face flushed with shyness. When Lin Mo said that he would follow him in the future, Nyan was still a little anxious. What about Papa? Lin Mo glanced at Right Nosra with a flattering face, then turned around and said to Nyan gently, Nyan's father, isn't he going to work, so we can't disturb him? Hearing this, Nyan felt a little down, but he nodded sensible. That's right, Papa has been very busy with work and doesn't have time to accompany Nyan every day. Lin Mo followed Nyan's words. Yes, Nyan's father is very busy, but Nyan doesn't need to be sad, the master will always accompany Nyan in the future. When Lin Mo said he was very busy, he deliberately accentuated his tone, and then stared at Right Nosla. He believed that Right Nosla knew what he meant. From the moment Nyan apprenticed to Lin Mo, the father-daughter relationship between Right Nosla and Nyan was dead in name only. Really, will the master always be with Nyan? Nyan looked at Lin Mo with anticipation in his eyes. Nyan, who was involved with the Nosla family, has always been very lacking in love. The mother died in childbirth when Nyan was born, and the father, Right Nosra, was a man who would do anything for power. How could such a person spend time with Nyan? At most, it's just to buy some more toys for Nyan. As the daughter of a gang boss, she can't even go to kindergarten. No friends, no playmates, the only father to rely on is obsessed with power. Of course, but on the contrary, Nyan has to listen to the master's words. Lin Mo pretended to be serious. Don't worry, Nyan has always been an obedient and good boy. Nyan also answered with a small face and a serious face. Master, can you tell Nyan a story later? After speaking, Nyan blinked his eyes and looked at Lin Mo expectantly. Lin Mo pretended to think for a while and then agreed. Of course you can, but you have to wait for the master to finish the matter here. Okay, moi. Seeing Lin Mo agree, Nyan happily kissed Lin Mo's cheek. Maki, who was on the side, saw this scene for some reason, and suddenly felt unhappy for a while, frowned and looked at Nyan, who was being held by Lin Mo. After Lin Mo put Nyan on the chair, he turned and walked towards Right Nosla, the gentle smile on his face disappeared instantly. Okay, since you have handed Nyan over to me, then I will do as we agreed to help you get rid of the Fanobi family, and let your Nosla family completely replace them. A touch of excitement appeared in Right Nosla's eyes. Nyan is blessed to have you as her teacher, Lord Lin Mo. A transaction is a transaction, you know. Lin Mo emphasized the word transaction again, reminding Right Nasra not to have any illusions he should have. Right Nasla sighed in his heart. He did have a bit of luck just now that Nyan took Lin Mo as his teacher. Does it mean that he can also have a relationship with Lin Mo? I see, Lord Lin Mo. Right Nasla's acquaintance made Lin Mo nodded with satisfaction. Then arrange 8 rooms for us now. I think there should be enough rooms in your villa. Of course there is. I'll make people reassure. I'll take some adults to the room to rest. Originally, Right Nasla wanted to ask the servants to arrange a room for Lin Mo and the others, saying that it was like a knife. Suddenly I remembered that everyone was killed by Lin Mo and the others. Where is the next person from now? After everything was arranged, Lin Mo picked up Nyan again, only to find that Nyan had fallen asleep. It is true that they survived such a busy meal, and now it is almost 1 or 2 in the morning. Seeing Lin Mo pick up Nyan, Nobunaga asked curiously, Lin Mo, are you really going to take this kid with you all the time? Yeah, isn't our brigade not full yet? Even if it is full, we might be able to make Nyan a substitute. With her talent, I guess she'll be stronger than you when she grows up. Holding Nyan, Lin Mo said with a smile on his face. Huh, just this kid, I don't believe it. How could Nobunaga, who is enhancer, think that he was no match for a little girl? Snapped. Lin Mo slapped Nobunaga on the head. Don't shout so loudly, didn't you see little Nyan falling asleep? Crollo, who was walking behind, saw this scene and thought again, Lin Mo really likes human female larvae. This time it was Lin Mo's turn to hold back. Crollo. You give me enough time. Sure enough, the deputy head is really gentle. Franklin once again sighed in Meteor Street. This time, even Phaeton couldn't help but nodded in agreement. Maybe, the deputy commander is very suitable to be a father. Pike Norton also had a sudden brain hole. Only Maki felt uncomfortable seeing Lin Mo so caring for Nyan, and gritted his teeth and leaned over to Lin Mo. Lin Mo, I want to share a room with you. Maki's words almost shocked Lin Mo to the point where Nyan couldn't hold her steady. Even Pikenauden looked at Maki in shock. The next second, Pike Nuoden will start eating melon mode. Oh, because of Nyan's appearance, Maki began to feel a sense of crisis. Go, Maki. Pike Nuoden began to cheer for Maki in his heart. Then Maki explained with a blushing face, because I still have some things to do with my thoughts, I plan to share a room with you for convenience. Knock up, this pair locks me up. Pike Norton began to stage an emotional drama in his heart. Come on Maki, can't lose to Nyan. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.